I think we're live. We should be live. Well, let me check. Oh my god, I opened something. Oh no. I'm being a boomer right now. Wait, go. Okay.
Boomer.
Oh shit, I didn't edit the description. I'm sorry. Save. Wait, this is... No, I didn't put in the game. Destiny 2. Really?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah. Okay. Let's alert the people if they're in any way not busy.
That's me. Here we go. Why did that stop turning off my noise suppression at
That was...
Discord?
Okay. I don't know how many people we currently have. I pinged the stream enjoyers.
Alright.
Hopefully Finn will be in the chat to support us. Mentally.
It's the mental illness.
Oh my god, the mental illness. Anyway,
for the record, it's us that are mentally ill.
yes, we are mentally ill, and we are proud of it, obviously.
Yes.
That's why we know the lore better. It's because we are mentally ill. And
no one can understand lore better than autistics.
yeah.
It's just true.
That's not just statistically true. Oh, hi, Finn. So, Mylin made the War School videos, quote, where he, like, lets other YouTubers come onto his stream, and then they ask him questions about lore, because he's the lore master, and he's, like, explaining the lore to them. He made... Oh my god, he made 4 of them. I only watched 3. I did not have the strength to watch another. I'm sorry. And most of the issues are in the 2 videos. The second one he made with Dado and Danielle. And the third... Is it the third? Yeah, it's the third one he made with... or fourth. I think it's actually fourth. He made with Astacross. Quote-unquote explaining, yeah. And, like, he's not wrong about everything, obviously, but he's wrong about so many things that are, like, so essential that it's just... Hi, Holly. That, we've been losing our minds. We've been losing our minds. And that's that. That's that on that. Theus is here with me. Theus is Osiris PhD haver.
I am the haver of the Osiris PhD that I invented.
Yes, and since he has the PhD, he obviously knows the Osiris lore the best, and we are going to start with Osiris because those are the most interesting questions that people are asking, and all of the answers are wrong.
All of them.
Literally
Every
all?
single one of them.
Literally.
What not doing any Osiris lore does to someone.
Oh my god. What not reading Emulant does to someone.
I should probably pull up Emulant just in case.
Yeah, I have issues here if we need anything, but like...
And then, of course, what gives me pause, which...
Yeah, oh my god.
What gives me an insanity moment.
Oh my god, we have to do the what gives me pause analysis. Mylin was having issues with some of the garden stuff, so we have to help him.
Obviously.
I guess, yeah, for the first bit, it is going to be about Osiris, because one of the first questions in the first video, I'm gonna put the links to the videos later in the description with timestamps if needed, but like I will be mentioning the timestamp, so you can always check Mylin's videos if you're like really interested to see if I'm lying about what he said.
I wish he was.
I wish he was.
Oh.
So the first video with Dado and Danielle, that was made before exorcism. I have to like just put it out there because I don't want to be like, oh, Malin didn't predict or whatever. You know, everyone can make a mistake. The problem is he's the lore master, so like he should know better than like anyone, especially when he's like on a panel about the lore. He should know better. And the first thing that we are going to discuss is something that he says in the first video at about what is this number that I wrote? Oh, it's about 13 minutes, where they discuss the Season of the Lost and Osiris. And as I said, this was before exorcism, like a few days before exorcism. And of course, they discuss how they believe that Osiris is dead. And, well, now we know that he's not, because exorcism happened, but we've known that he's not dead for a very long time. And we made like a million posts about how he's not dead. Everything before exorcism, so like we knew that, like if we knew that he's not dead, then I think Mylin should also know that he's not dead, in my opinion, I think. And one of their like one of Mylin's biggest things is that like he said at about 13 minutes and 50 that there are lore cards that suggest that Osiris is dead, and he uses the Chrysura Mello, which he used also in his video about whether or not Osiris is dead, which is very annoying because we already discussed that. I mean, I did like, in a very, very like huge post. He's using this line to prove that Osiris was dead. That Savathûn like turned into this twisting instar, and instar is like a basically like a larva form in insects. But that's not what that fully means, because that's not how like the insects that have these like forms, they don't have to go into another creature to cocoon themselves. They cocoon themselves like in their own bodies, like, you know, like a caterpillar doesn't go into another animal to become a cocoon. So there's like no point to what he's saying. And on top of that, I analyzed like the actual word instar, like what it means, and it's in Latin. Let me check in my other thing. Where's my link? I have a million links for this because there it is. Search instar. There we go. Instar in Latin means an image, a likeness, resemblance, counterpart. So like, it's not something going into him, it's just like mimicking the already existing thing. So like Savathûn was like a larva, and she looked on Osiris and she turned herself into Osiris, basically. She mimicked her form. Her instar took the image of Osiris. So like they are two separate beings. And that's basically that on that. Like I don't know why he like focuses on this specific word without having like investigated it more, even though like that's the basis of his entire theory. And that doesn't suggest that Osiris is dead. Like nothing in Chrysura Mello suggests that he's dead.
Well,
Yeah?
what about the fact that obviously he was possessed?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Also, of course, they often use wolf tone draw, which is very like, everyone is using wolf tone draw, but no one ever explains what a wolf tone is. They seem to be like just immune.
It's a wolf. Yeah, and there's also a lot also part of it is being like not understanding music,
Yeah,
but a wolf tone is literally just like it's when a key it's when you're it's a stringed instrument thing. And it's when your stringed instrument has a um string that is like one tone is just it like reverberates. So what people do in order to avoid this sound, because it can throw off music, what people do to use this sound or to avoid this sound is they play a different note that is as close to it as possible.
yeah. And also part of the like the wolf tone is that like the wolf tone is actually the like it's a tone that like it's an extra tone that happens when you like
Mm,
make that string when that string is like broken, quote unquote. So like you have two tones. You have the the tone that has to be made, and then the wolf tone is like this extra tone that happens. So like basically two things, and one of which
yep.
is not supposed to be there, which also mimics how there's a real Osiris and there's Savathûn posing as Osiris.
Literally, it's literally not
Yeah, it's
possession.
literally not possession, and which is why he's obviously not dead. And like now we know that he's not dead. So like this whole like rant that Mylin had with like he has to be dead, and he like repeats that like in every single video, and it's really like it's really annoying. And also keep that in mind because in the next video he's going to the video with Astacross was made after the exorcism, so obviously Osiris wasn't confirmed dead. And Marlon was like, "Oh my god, what do I do now?" So he invented a new theory, which is equally ridiculous. Actually, it's more ridiculous than the Osiris being dead, but we'll get to that. Like, be at the edge of your seats, I guess.
Ugh.
In
Oh
in
no, I know what's
yeah,
coming.
it's
I don't like it.
and yeah. Since I have the wolf tone draw already open, like it's obvious that he's not dead here because he is alive, and like seeing what Savathûn is doing all the way in Season of the Splicer. So like since Season of the Hunt until Season of the Splicer, which is 9 months, he is alive because he can see Lakshmi. Like we know from Wolf and Draw that he can still like see and recognize like that he's alive. Basically, he's telling us like how long he's been through this, and we know now after the exorcism what happened to like what she did. She kidnapped Osiris. She transformed into him. She kept him somewhere. We don't know exactly where she kept him. That's the only thing that we don't know. Probably, maybe Throne World, maybe somewhere else.
I'm thinking Throne World
Yeah,
because then it like if she transposed
yeah,
herself with Osiris, then she would already be in her Throne
yeah,
World.
yeah. That makes sense. And like as Diaz said, like at the end, she like when we break the crystal, when the exorcism happens, when the crystal is broken, she's not there, and Osiris is there, and people were like, possession. What? It wasn't possession. Like we know that it wasn't possession. Like from a million things, including like in-game stuff, and also that one article which literally said that she was tired of months of shapeshifting. So like,
Literally
yeah,
shape-shifting.
and but specifically in the radio message at the end of Exorcism, when Petra speaks to Ikora, Petra directly explains to Ikora that Savathûn transposed herself with Osiris. And transpose is a very interesting word because, like, first of all, it's really clear. That means, like, it changed, like, she exchanged places with him. But also, it's a musical term, again, which makes sense when it's paired with Wolf Don't Draw. Um, there you go. What? I'm getting some music stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, it's transpose, cause two or more things to exchange places. What, like,
yeah.
literally, what else do you want me to, like? And then in music, it's write or play music in a different key from the original, which also fits. Like, she
Yeah,
made,
especially given wolf
yeah,
tone.
given the wolf tone, like it's this almost exactly the same concept. And it's really interesting because like she specifically did exactly that. Like she wrote and played Osiris in a different key. Like she was doing it, and it wasn't him. It wasn't the original Osiris. It was her. So like that's like, I don't know why people are still struggling to understand that like it wasn't possession, and that's where Bife is also like insisting that it's possession, which is it's extremely annoying because it's been as clear as possible by using that specific word and by using all other words, like, and by just like logic, as we said many times, like how would a mortal man survive a hive god possessing him? Like, you know, it's just beyond wild. um and why they seem to be saying that, a lot of the in the first video, a lot of the reasons for why they want Osiris to be dead was because they want, they seem to want to see Saint be angry, I guess. Yeah, they specifically at like 13 minutes and 10 seconds, they say, I would like to see an upset, angry Saint for Teen. Which, I mean, he was upset and angry. Like, he was literally upset and angry.
You missed literally that whole thing. That was an entire
Yeah,
thing.
it was an entire thing, like throughout the season, even like in
Yep.
first in his in that one radio message in week 2. Finn is coming in. Hi, Finn. Hi. In week 2.
Um,
Yeah, speak your mind.
just makes me so angry. Like the complete dismissal of queer characters in general, but also just like
Yeah.
particularly with Saint, who is a caring, calm character.
Yeah.
Who his whole thing is, singing to the children and like,
Yeah, building the wall.
building the wall. Like he's like, oh, we've not got enough food, so I'm gonna go out and plow fields and
Yeah.
plant crops and
Yeah.
stuff. And like his whole thing is he wants there to be, it's like in his very first tab in Pigeon and the Phoenix, like his whole thing is he is looking for a time after war. He wants,
Yeah.
like the tomorrow and the tomorrow after that until the day where there is no fighting. Like that's what his whole thing is
Yeah,
about.
he's fighting for the peace.
And yeah, like he is looking forward to a day that he can never have to pick up a gun again. That's what he wants.
Yep.
And he wants that with Osiris.
Yeah. And Osiris wants that with him, obviously, as he...
Yeah, yeah. Future that could have been enough. Yeah,
exactly. And, like, it's just mind-boggling because later specifically, Mylin goes on... When they're talking about, like, who they want to die, which is another thing that I want to mention later, but it's not related to Osiris immediately. We're talking about Saint, yeah. Everyone immediately knows that it's Saint. At about 18 minutes and 47 seconds, there's, like, a whole... quote from Mylin that I wrote down like word by word. Saint 14's development as a character so much that it would be really interesting to follow his journey if he's gone from his idea of being like a crusader and being on this warpath and terrorizing the Elixni to then realizing he was a monster all along, and then now he's like feeding pigeons in the tower. That was said like really dismissively. And then he also said it would be sort of cool to see him just being absolute mess again. And like, no, it wouldn't. Like,
why? Why do you want that?
That would literally be like going back on his development. Like, his development is specifically about like he went from a crusader, warpath, killing, and then he realized, he kind of calmed down. He came back from the dead. And then he settled down in the city. He realized how much has been done. He realized that the peace is possible. He made amends with the Elixni. Like, that's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And he just wants peace. Like, that's his character arc. Yep. His character arc is now here, where we are like looking at this incredibly powerful guardian who just decided that like he's gonna feed pigeons and he's gonna protect the children and he's going to like build and plow fields basically. And like, why is that bad? Yeah, he just wants to have a happy life with his birds. Yeah, well, why
But
would you?
Belle,
There is literally no reason to like reverse that development.
Belle, don't you know? He was much smarter in that one single grimoire that he showed up in Destiny 1,
God,
and he was cooler too.
God. Like if people want,
You know, because he didn't have a Russian
yeah,
accent.
and like if people want like a rampaging guardian, I mean, this is not the place.
That's not safe.
Destiny's not the place where you're gonna find that. Like Destiny is inherently about hope and love, and Destiny's not gonna have you reversing someone's character development. Like, why would they do that? Literally, it's not in the narrative at all for any character. Like it's been a thing also with Crow. Like the point of Uldren and Clo and Clo, the
Clo.
point of Uldren and Crow is that like it's a character arc, and the fact that Crow is now like he knows who he was and he's still good, and his ghost is like convincing him, yes, you're still good, you're still Crow, you will never be that person again. Like there's a point to why that's a thing that's happening. Like insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Also, Mylin, like before his whole rant about Saint and how Saint should go back on the warpath, Mylin said that he wouldn't be upset if Osiris is dead, which no shit. Like
I wonder why.
so many times you've said, like he said so many times that like Osiris has to be dead. That like, yeah, of course you wouldn't be upset. Like you want him to be dead. I don't know. I mean, we know why, but
Yeah, I wonder why he wants him dead so. He wants a gay man of color to be dead so badly.
And to suffer, like to suffer so much. Why? Like I don't want to make assumptions, but like, is there maybe some sort of a bias like that you're not aware of? I don't know. Which ties me into the other thing where they were talking about like who they want. Like they were just speculating. Like I think it was Danielle who asked like who would you kill and why if you had like the option. And that's about 17 minutes and 35 seconds. Mylin says Zavala. He's got no lore and he's boring.
Oh my
and
god.
I'm just
Tell me you haven't read a fucking lore page.
Yeah.
Without telling me you haven't read a lore page
That's
in
so...
like 7 years, Mylin. Like,
that's so insane to me because Zavala has been specifically a very big plot point in this year. Like ever since Beyond Light. Like even in the campaign of Beyond Light, like he's a huge part of Beyond Light and how he doesn't want us to use stasis.
he's in the first scene of Immolen.
Yeah, he's in the first scene of
You know,
Immolen.
that lore, that bit of web lore, you know, that dismissive tone of web lore that, like, nobody's read because
and then
none of the lore tubers have talked about it.
He's, like... There's just, like, a huge thing with him in, like, having visions of, like, Uldren, quote-unquote. Instead, he's just, like, seeing Crow. And he has, like, this whole thing with both Crow and Keitel and the Cabal in general in Season of the Chosen. Also with Saladin, like when Saladin and Zavala are like not, they're really not seeing eye to eye. So Zavala is like talking to Saladin and Saladin's talking to him, and they're kind of working out their differences and all of that. And then of course the whole thing with Keitel and like how he made the peace with the Cabal, and how he ended up accepting Crow, like without questioning at all. Like, he straight up just saw him and just offered him his hand. Like, you can't say that he has no lore. Like, what are you talking about? And, like, specifically in this season. Like, or rather in this year. It's just insane to me that you would say that he has no lore. I could understand, like, I don't know, he's boring to you, I guess, personally. Whatever, I don't care. But to say that he has no lore?
When you are posing yourself as someone who is explaining things to people
Yeah.
and who knows stuff, that's when this becomes a
Yeah.
problem. Like, it's fine to not know things. It is fine to not know
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Admit that you don't know things instead of sitting there Googling every 5 minutes. And, like, going on Destinypedia, which is well known to be an incredibly unreliable
Yeah,
source.
it is.
And then just reading it straight off the page when somebody has specifically asked you a question
Yeah.
Yeah.
about those things.
Like, they could do that themselves if they
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
to.
literally. Like,
And again, Destinypedia, not a reliable source. Go to Ishtar.
Yep.
like
Literally.
if you really need to like check something quickly, Destinypedia can be good to like get the source on something, but like definitely go to the source and not read off the Destinypedia itself, because in a lot of cases it's not even updated. Like some articles have not been touched in like years, and in other situations it's just wrong, which is a problem if you're like looking for information. And but yeah, like the problem here is that this was specifically made like to have people ask a lore master
Yep.
questions about lore. So like if you don't know, it's better to say that you don't know. And by the way, there were a lot of people in his chat correcting him, so like even his chat knows, like off the top of their head. So I don't know.
Talking about like everything as well, not just this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I marked as really annoying is at 20 minutes and 39 seconds, where Mylin says, I'm thinking the Cabal are going to be involved in some way, whether it's Keitel or Calus. And this video was published after the
This was-
Vidoc, I don't know how do people say that. And in the Vidoc, they specifically like explain what Season of the Risen is going to be about.
She's in the cutscene.
Yeah.
She is in
Yeah.
the cutscene in the video.
Oh,
Yeah.
You earn money to talk about this
Yeah.
game. Like, you know about
Yeah.
it. And you talk bullshit.
Like they specifically, like in the Vidoc, specifically said, Season of the Risen is about us asking Keitel for help with the Lucent Brood, because she has the technology, like for light suppression from the Scions. So we're asking her for help. That's literally like the explanation. Vidoc, thanks, Mal. That's literally the explanation for the Season of the Risen. So like, yes, of course we're gonna work with Keitel and not with Calus. Like, where are you pulling Calus from? Like, we don't know where Calus is.
He's probably dead, given that he's been talking to us on the Glykon. Like,
He's either dead or he's like merged with the darkness somehow, so the darkness obviously can use his voice. But for now, we just don't know. Like, we have no clue. But we know for sure that we're not going to be working with Calus. We know we're not going to be working with Calus also because of the Collector Edition lore book, where Ikora and Keitel have that whole chat where they discuss Calus, and Keitel basically tells Ikora, hey, if you find Calus, please, I earned to kill him. And Ikora is like, yeah, sure, if you find him, we will never sanction anything with him ever again, and we will hand him over to you for a price, obviously, because that's just like politically smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So in limbo with Stewart, I hope Stewart is like kicking his ass in that limbo if they are together. So like also like he seems to like Calus very much. Like out of everything that he talked about, every time he talked about Calus, he was like really, really interested, which like I understand, it's his Blorbo, I guess. So like that's good.
Imagine Calus being your Blorbo.
Oh my god.
could not relate.
Like
He's too anti-Semitic for my
oh
taste.
my god, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, but even with his Blorbo, he doesn't know everything. But I do, because it
Yep.
involves my other Blorbo.
Exactly.
At 29 minutes and 4 seconds, Mylin says the following: the only person to see real Calus's body since his exile is Catabasis, the hunter on the Glykon, which is not true. Because who else saw him? Well, it is the Drifter. How do I think it's the Opulent Cloak. I know how to find it. Because that's the only... Yeah. No, it's not. It's spelled. Yeah, normal cloak. This is where...
There you go.
Yeah, this is where the Drifter rides up to Calus in his Sparrow. And I do imagine that he has the Micro Mini, because it's just incredibly funny. And... Calus is just constantly mocking him for being small. And he presents himself to the Drifter without the robot. See, the Drifter is like, "Is that you?" he asked. "The real you?" "Yes." "One of me." Refreshment. And apparently, we know that it's not the robot because of the following. Here. I look at you, the Cabal Emperor isn't even Cabal anymore, right? So, like, apparently his body is warped so much, like, to the point that he does not look like Cabal anymore, which is really creepy. Like, what the hell? But basically, this happened, like, in Forsaken when they come out, in Opulence. So, yeah, basically in Forsaken. When Drifter showed up to the system, he went to Calus and was like, "Are we gonna have a problem with the Guardians? Because I want them to work for me." And Calus was like, "No, they're mine." And they're like arguing over us, like babies, which is really funny. But obviously, Drifter saw him as well. No, it wasn't just Catabasis. That's not that important, but like, if you like your Blorbo so much, can you at least like get all the information on your Blorbo correct? Like, that's the minimum.
That is a constant move.
Like, I can't explain how can someone like not know every single information about their Blorbo. Like, you have
Literally, I skimmed the entirety of Osiris's
yeah.
page on it, and then some,
Yeah.
because some things aren't listed correctly.
Yeah, they aren't.
Like, things for first person point of view aren't often listed as who is writing them.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating.
Yeah. I think it's because Ishtar is it's mostly like automated. Because sometimes it picks up certain words, even when it's not connected. Like, for example, I know I saw in one of the texts there was like a word glint, and it filed it under glint as a character. So like, it was also the same with like whirlwind. I noticed that as well. Like, any common words that are also words that are connected with some other thing, like character or something, tends to be like automatically like put into their category, which like it could use some oversight, I think, to fix some of the lore pieces and like where they fit, especially with Osiris, because Osiris,
He's the main character.
He's an integral character.
yeah, he is.
I say that jokingly, but like, he genuinely is the linchpin of an awful lot of Destiny, if not all of it.
Yeah.
Really is. Like, a lot of the things that happen currently wouldn't have happened if Osiris wasn't exiled.
Yeah.
Like, that is a major, like, event that happened.
And also a lot of the stuff that's happening now is the consequence of Season of Dawn. So.
Yep. And then Osiris losing Sagira.
Yeah, and then Osiris losing Sagira. Like, literally.
Gee, Osiris, how many key events are hinged upon you?
Literally everything that happened.
Basically all of them.
Yeah, basically everything that happened this year is because of Immolant. If things of
that no one ever reads.
Yeah, like everything that happened in this year, like, and going further, because going into Witch Queen, because it's Savathûn wouldn't have been able to do this if not for Immolant, and which is very likely staged by her. At least like at the point of the cryptoliths. Because at first, like obviously Osiris is just investigating the anomalies, but it's very interesting. There's also something that there's another thing about the Drifter, which is irritating to me personally, because Drifter is my favorite character. So in 30 minutes, 25 seconds, it's also connected to the Glykon, Glykon is also my favorite character. I really like the Glykon. When they ask him, Presagi, when they ask, someone asks Mylin about the plants on the Glykon and the plants on Drifter's ship, and Mylin starts talking about the light-suppressing creature that he found on the ice planet, which, like, those are not plants. I don't think he knows what plants on the Drifter's ship they're talking about, because he doesn't mention the plant. He just talks about the creatures, which doesn't make any sense, because that's not what they ask. They ask about the plants. And then he also says probably reused assets, which is not true, because the connection between the plants is deliberate. Like, it's mentioned back in when Presage first came out. They specifically say, oh, those are the same as what grows on Drifter's ship. And then again in the Collector's Edition book, when Drifter is asking Ikora, like, did you order people to, like, come snooping around my ship for the plans? So obviously it's not just reused assets, it's a plot point. There's a reason why the same thing appears in two locations. And it has nothing to do with ice creatures. It was very strange.
Oh, and there's actually another interesting thing that I was just thinking about, because I was reminded in that the Books of Sorrow, it's mentioned that in the Needler there was a darkness that grew in it, or the Needle, not Needler.
Someone is playing Halo.
Listen.
Yes, they're all the same game. They all take place in the same universe.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
you're right,
I can't go off on that one.
It's true.
To be fully clear, I do not think that's the case.
That's true. There was some wild shit that happened on the Needle.
Yeah.
It's extremely creepy.
And it does seem to have implications of what's going on here.
Yeah, there's clearly... There's something with those plants. It's not just random reused assets. Like, it's specifically mentioned in the lore that they are the same plants. They didn't just say, oh, why does the Drifter have those plants on his ship? Oh, it's probably reused assets. You know, Ikora said it's probably reused assets. No, they specifically say that it's some sort of a darkness thing that seems to be growing there for whatever reason, and also whatever is on Drifter's ship as well. And we'll probably get to know more, because they were mentioned in the Collector's Edition, so probably a hint, like, for going forward. Where is this? This is... I think the next one is... Oh god, Uldren. No. They kept asking him if Crow is going to become Uldren again, basically. He eats them. Maybe he eats them. But yeah, it was a constant question of, like, is Crow going to become evil again?
No.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Ta-da! Yeah, there we go. Learn what a narrative is. Learn how it works.
Literally.
No. Like, it would make literally no sense.
Yeah.
This isn't a Marvel movie.
Yeah, literally the answer is no.
Engage with some other content.
This happens...
Sorry, go on.
At about 40 minutes, just like if anyone wants to check. Oh, hi Hack. And first of all, there was something that Mylin said that makes... Again, it's not correct, literally, just... He mixed up things. He says that this is when his, meaning Uldren's, corruption started. He got cut on the hand. He got a thorn from one of the asphodelia flowers in the Black Garden. That's how he got corrupted. And no, that's not what happened. He mixed up Uldren's lore and Pujari. Pujari is the one who got cut and had a thorn
Oh, okay.
connected with the Black Garden. Hi, Echo. And Uldren got corrupted when he saw the heart. The black heart corrupted Uldren. We know that, like, it's specifically about the heart because Mara also later asked him, "Did you see the heart?" And then he's kind of phasing out of existence whenever the heart is mentioned. And also, obviously, Jolyon specifically mentions the heart and how whenever he thinks about it, it starts getting to him. So Jolyon's way of fighting the corruption was just to, like, not think about it. Don't think about it. Don't.
It's really fucked
Yeah,
up
it's
because Uldren wanted to remember.
yeah, and that's why Uldren got corrupted.
Jolyon wants to forget it,
Yeah.
so they had the opposites.
Yeah,
So Uldren forgot it, and Jolyon was forced to remember
yeah,
it.
and that's why they kind of drifted apart. Which again is this is something that Aphelion also keeps mentioning. He keeps mentioning Jolyon and the ship that we get with Jolyon lore, because the ship is called Eternal Recurrence, so like something that keeps repeating, which is his a kind of argument for why.
Is that what he based his argument on?
Yeah, that's part of the argument, is that
My
the ship is called that,
God.
so it's like a loop, and the crow is gonna fall again. And like,
Oh my God. I thought that was in reference to just the Dreaming City.
yeah, I also think that's just the Dream City, and it's and again, he also says, like, a bit further in, about 46 minutes, for whatever reason Jolyon didn't get corrupted in the Black Garden. It's not for whatever reason. We just genuinely know the reason. Like,
Yeah.
it's because he made a conscious effort to not think about the Black Heart. And, like,
Yep.
whenever Uldren kept asking him about it, he was like, "Don't talk to me about it." And then they started splitting apart. Like, they started drifting apart because Uldren was interested in pursuing that, while Jolyon was not. And eventually Uldren forgot Jolyon. Like, literally the Black Heart affected him to the point where that was the only thing that he could know, that he could remember, that only thing that mattered to him, basically. That's how the corruption spread. So, like, no. And, like, obviously Crow...
But Belle,
Yeah?
it's Mara's fault.
Oh my god.
Obviously.
Oh my god, I'm gonna bite something.
Because Mara
They broke up.
exists and is therefore a problem
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know.
I really do not get where this comes from.
There's also another, like, weird shit at 43 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, Uldren's corruption in the Black Garden was only suspected through lore books and not confirmed until Mara and Ikora have a voice line in Season of Lost. Which, like...
What?
Which, like...
What?
It's suspected
What?
through lore books? No, it's explained in the lore book.
My God.
It's like the Forsaken Prince lore book specifically exists to show us...
Tell me you haven't read The Forsaken
Maybe-
Prince without telling me you haven't read The Forsaken Prince.
Like,
It's not even like it's like some like random bit on some bit of armor that nobody uses
Yeah,
and nobody
it's an
looks
entire...
at.
Yeah.
It's the Forsaken Prince lore
Yeah,
book.
it's specifically there to show us that Uldren was a different person before Black Garden, and that after the Black Garden, after the Heart, there's specifically, like, two-part lore pages in the Forsaken Prince, which is specifically after the Heart, part 1, and after the Heart, part 2. Like, that's the point. The point is that after the Heart, he was no longer the same. That's the whole, like... point of having that lore book, to tell us that the Black Heart in the Black Garden corrupted Uldren, and that before the Black Garden he was a good person, he was a normal person, he was a good guy, he was just a guy who...
He was a guy.
Yeah, just a guy. He was, like, singing things to kids, he was, like, had his best bro buddy person, man. He liked being a hero for the Awoken people, like, he was just a normal person. And then suddenly, after the Black Heart, he just flipped. Like,
Yep.
I wonder why that is. That's suspected. Like, what? It can't get any more clearer. Like,
Jesse, what the hell are you talking about?
literally, like, I'm watching this and I'm just... half of those videos, I'm like, am I being gaslit here? Like, am I...
Literally.
Like... I legitimately went out, like, to check certain things because I was like doubting my own like stuff that I know that is true. But like I have to go check, because if the lore master says it, maybe I'm just insane. I don't know. Like they'll talk about in the Varix book. Yeah, they talk about it a lot. Like we know that it's specifically the heart. Gaslight Gatekeep Mylin boss.
He is not a boss.
Oh my god.
He's a cringe fail.
Yeah. And people treat him like he's a boss,
Yeah.
which is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. Gort hunting with Holly and Tuft. Thank you, Echo, and also you have fun as well. Don't die. Another thing, which is specifically like since we mentioned Tuft already, something for Tuft to be angry about. At 57 minutes, Mylin is talking about the worm gods. Like they ask him about the worm gods, and he specifically says that after Oryx killed Akka, Akka comes back from death. Which, no, that doesn't happen. That literally doesn't happen. Like Akka.
What?
Akka.
What?
Like Oryx kills Akka
What?
and turns Akka into the dreadnought. Like that's a very important point. And like sure, Akka isn't like fully dead, because in Emolant, Osiris.
In what? In what?
In
what?
Emolant.
I've never heard of that, but what's
It's
Emolant
just
about?
That really cool like random web lore that kind of exists. Oh my god, I think I searched for this like a billion times in part 2. Let's do this. Yeah. As Akka suffers a slow final death, damaged beyond repair, the dreadnought Akka, like, sure, it's a worm god, so it's not exactly dead, but it didn't come back to life. Like Oryx killed Akka, and then turned it into the dreadnought, and of course it's still dying, or it's like it's still in the process of dying because it is a worm god, but it didn't come back from death. Like what are you talking about? Again, this is so weird to me, because Mylin compiled the Books of Sorrow for the first volume of the Grimoire. So like, how do you make that much mistake?
Oh god.
Like,
it only gets worse from here.
Oh, it does. It really does.
Yeah, there's a lore piece of the Redjacks and Shacks reporting that the ship is technically still alive. Yeah, it's technically alive, like in a way that's...
It's having a long, slow
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's not...
Yeah.
It's not getting better.
Yeah, it didn't come back from
Yeah.
death. Like, once it died, like, that was actually a huge point with Oryx, because Oryx went to kill Akka to gain more power, and Akka told him, "You cannot kill me." And then Oryx said, "No, you." And that made him, like, able to kill Akka, because he denied that to Akka. So, like, Akka made a mistake by saying, "You can't kill me," because then Oryx said, "Yes, I can," and effectively just sword logicked him in a way, which is, like, again, important for why Akka has to be, like, dead in the clearest sense that we can use. Yeah, and Zol.
Also, like the most recent lore piece that we have about it, which is Imolan,
Yeah.
explicitly states that Akka is dying.
Yeah,
like,
Akka is dying. Like, it didn't come back from
Yep.
death.
And
It,
very much is not coming back and not getting better.
and
Yep.
it's a really important thing
There's
in general for the
different-
worm gods.
Yeah, there's a difference between being alive, or technically alive, and dying.
Yeah. Like, coming back from death. And, like, I wouldn't be, like, nitpicking this one, like, thing so much, but, like, he specifically did these. Like, he's... If he knows anything, it's Books of Sorrow. So...
And
In
yet,
theory,
Yeah.
in theory, he knows the Books of
Yeah.
Zorro.
So he should know them better than anyone, specifically because he worked with Bungie to make the first volume of the Grimoires. So, like, I would suspect that
Yep.
if he remembers any of the lore, it's Books of Sorrow. Because, like, I don't know, it's just... But apparently not. I mean, Mylin, you need some memory medicine or something? I don't know. not judging, obviously. Like, it happens to everyone. Happens to the best of us. But, like...
Hello, I have ADHD.
Yeah.
I have like
It's...
functional forgetting things, like disorder. Like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's
but
just, like... It's...
when you know that you forget things, you rely on other sources
Yeah.
and you
It's...
actively double check things.
Yeah, I just... It's really strange to me that, like, he specifically messed that up. Like, I understand messing up the newer stuff, because maybe he's not, like, up to date. He doesn't seem to be interested in a lot of these. Like, I specifically, like, when I watched, I realized that when he's talking about Calus, he's very excited. But then when he's talking about something else, he's just, like, kind of just going through it. Which, you know, understandable. Not everyone likes all the lore. Just, you know, as a lore master, you kind of have to know.
Quote unquote.
I'm sorry, but, like, that's...
I mean, I feel like Mylan has been kind of off the rails for
Yeah, a lot of people.
a
A lot of people
while,
say that.
and
Yeah.
he's only ever gotten worse ever since he was correct once about the Vex in Beyond Light.
What, he was correct about what in the Beyond Light?
The Vex. He was right about how the Vex function.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guessed that Clovis used the Vex and Darkness. Sorry, that he used Darkness to make the Exos. Huh. Got them.
Yep.
He was, yeah, I don't know.
But Belle, did you predict the Red Wall?
I predicted the Red Wall.
Honest to God, it's what he sounds like. I predicted
oh
the
my
Red
God,
He
Wall.
does. He does. He sounds like
God,
Lakshmi.
it does.
So I'm right about everything.
He sounds like Lakshmi. He predicted
predict-
one thing, and now he's...
Why he's doing that ridiculous stretch with
Oh my
Osiris.
God, we'll get to that. It's the icing on the cake.
Uh,
Next thing that was something that's gonna make Tuft angry. At 1 hour and 5 minutes, he says that Drifter and Ares talk about the Savathûn song in Prophecy, which is still unresolved at the moment, and then that everybody humming the song, and we haven't really seen impact of that. And, like, we know what Savathûn's song does. It has been resolved. Like, Savathûn's song is...
that song was used. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like it's a viral chant, and it's a type of basically a meme, so like a meme in the mimetics type of sense, where when you hear it, a Savathûn can implant something in your head. So, like, when she slips and accidentally is seen by someone, she starts singing the song, and can, like, basically warp the memory of the person that hears the song in whatever she wants. She can...
This was described in Ripe.
Yeah.
It was described in The Fool, was it?
It was described in Ripe.
The Comedian.
In the Comedian, and in the Traveler's Chosen, where she... Well, this is sort of... It's explained later in Crescera Mello, basically, that she sings the song to Shax and he stops. Is it Crescera? Yeah, it's Crescera Mello. And she explains, like, in order what she did, how she manipulated people. It's basically... she was squeezing into the Ahamkara skull. Shax noticed something. He turned around. I guess he saw her. And she started singing the song. And infected him. And then he just turned around and pretended like nothing happened. And the fact that everybody is humming the song, we've seen the impact. Like, the impact is the fact that everybody's seen her. Like, it's insane. Like, it's extremely creepy.
There's frames in the tower that are humming
Yeah.
it.
Like, it's extremely creepy.
Crow's humming it. And Crow spent a lot of time around Osiris.
Yeah. So, like, she must have slipped as Osiris next to Crow. And that's really creepy. It's just this... And also, like, obviously when one person hears it and they sing it, other people will get infected, which is why, like, when Lakshmi was singing it to the whole city, everyone got infected in a way. And except Saladin. Saladin doesn't seem to be affected, but...
Saladin's too stubborn.
Yeah, Saladin is just... He has some sort of I don't know, shield. I guess because he's, like, so stuck in his old ways that he's, like, impervious to any kind of lying and schemes, which is really, like, it's really fun. Specifically when he's
such a cool character.
Yeah, when he interacted with Savathûn as Osiris, and Osiris is like, she spends so much time trying to get Saladin to work with her, and never made it. Like, what? It's so
Yeah.
fucking funny. Like she tries so hard, and like especially that one time when she was like, can you? Did you say something like, can you tell a lie or something? And he's like, I don't lie.
Um.
Can you keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was keep it
Can you keep a
secret.
secret? And Saladin was just like, I don't like secrets, and just left basically. Like,
Whoops. Got to get out of here.
yeah, it's just like it's really funny. Um, Another like, this is where we go into like really weird, random stuff. Like at 1 minute, 1 hour, 7 minutes 35, he calls Ado Kel, which, and then he's kind of
Yeah, yeah.
double checking.
Like it's a surname.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of checking if she is Mithrax's adopted daughter. Like he seems unsure, and she's not. Her whole thing is that she's a scribe. Like every lore that we have of Ada is that she's a scribe. Like what? I don't understand. Like how can you? I mean, you can. I guess you could slip, but like he's. Given that everything else, like, is he slipping with every other word? Ado is not a Kel.
I
Yeah,
don't.
let's just correct. Ado is not a Kel. She's a scribe. Her father.
She is the
Yeah,
script.
her father.
That was
Mithrax,
like
is the Kel. So
her whole thing in all of
yeah,
Splicer.
like in all Spice.
It was
Lord.
explicitly stated she was a
Yeah,
scribe.
she was a scribe.
What the hell?
It's also like stated through Varix, because when Mithrax asks Varix to come over, Varix was like, "You already have a scribe," something like that. I'm not entirely like 100%, but like I think that he did mention something about scribes because
Honestly,
he's a scribe, obviously. So
honestly, at this point, I would be surprised if Mylan has just not played Destiny in a while.
I don't know. Maybe like it was possible that he didn't like pay attention to a lot of these cutscenes and a lot of these like dialogues. Maybe the format of the seasons doesn't work for him. Like it can happen, but like
But like, you are placing yourself as a figure of authority
yeah,
on this topic, and it is something that people are going to take you at face value, despite how absolute bullshit you're
Yeah.
like just spewing bullshit.
Yep.
And people are going to take that at face value
Yeah.
because you've led them on to believe that you know things about stuff, and then they're going to keep saying it to everyone else.
yeah,
And
Like,
then
it
not
is
only that, but
incredibly
he's
dishonest.
he's
just making
getting
shit up.
paid.
Yeah.
He's getting
paid to do it.
to do this.
Yeah, he's getting paid to make shit up about a video
Yeah.
game, and like,
And then it leaves us having to scramble
Yeah.
to figure out where some new misinformation is coming from.
yeah. Oh my god, there's so much misinformation, like randomly coming out of nowhere. I just
Like his stupid goddamn Saladin is the one who sent assassins after Zavala theory.
yeah, that was
Like
him.
there was the influx and the surge in people hating Saladin because they're like, oh, he's the one who sent the assassins. And it's
Yeah.
like, where did this information come from? Next thing you know, I get a suggestion on my YouTube and it's him, and it's like who is behind the assassinations? I'm like,
We know.
what? And
We
the
know.
worst part is that he included Osiris in that,
Yeah.
but like not in a way that it's clearly not
that
Osiris.
point,
In a
yeah.
way that's like, oh, I just hate this man.
Also, he's responsible for pretty much every single person saying, Osiris is going to die. Osiris is dead. Like,
Literally every single time that I made any post or art of Osiris, I would get people in the tags or in the replies on Twitter being like, I hope Osiris isn't dead, or Osiris is dead, and I'm like, what? Why?
I had to make
Why?
like,
I'd get it on stupid memes.
I think 2 different posts where I'm like, PSA, Osiris is not dead. Please calm down, people.
It was
He's
like
fine.
It was 3. It was more than 2 posts.
Yeah, that was probably more than 2. I don't.
Because there's asks too.
Yeah, asks and like people on like again commenting
in the
on-
tags
yeah,
randomly.
just commenting randomly about stuff like, please, it's just like Mylin, you
Yeah.
pain and suffering.
Even in the lead up to Exorcism,
Yeah.
so I've been posting like a lot of. I got some of the in-game models,
yeah,
and I've been playing around with them, digital action figures, whatever. I've been posting a lot of them, and I did one that was like a, this is what I want from the Exorcism mission. Everything's gonna be like, Osiris will be okay
Yeah.
eventually. It's just a case of what state is in and how we get him back. That's the interesting part. Like, I know he's going to be all right. It's just
Yeah.
a case of when and how.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many people in the comments of those posts being like, "Wow, I wish this would happen, but he's dead." And you're
Yeah,
like,
it's very like
the whole plot of this season has been we get him back.
yeah,
Osiris is alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole
Like
point.
Like
some of the
was
characters in the story, because they don't have the outside information of it's a narrative,
Yeah.
yeah.
are like, we don't know if he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, Ikora and Zavala have that conversation talking about Saint, where they're just kind
Yeah.
of like, he's just doing something
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he
yeah. When
has
they talk
to.
when he goes off with
And then
Mithrax.
that line from Petra in
Mm.
the radio stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's all just in the narrative.
Yeah.
Like we know we have more information.
Yeah, basically.
We were given a wolf tone for that information that he is very much still alive.
Yeah. That's
Like
the whole point of
it's
Wolftown.
yeah, that was to show us that Osiris is still alive, and not only that, but he was replaced by Savathûn.
Yeah.
Not he was transposed. She transposed herself with
Yep.
him, not possessed him.
Yeah, like
So many
Switched
please
places. She's
just
a
Google
shapeshifter.
Google with the word transpose, and that's all.
She's sister of shapes.
She's a shapeshifter.
Like,
God, it literally
yeah.
says like the narrative lead in that article said that she once slipped because she was tired of shapeshifting for months.
Yeah.
Like,
Also in the like opening line of that article, it says, quote, Osiris wasn't Osiris. In fact, Osiris hasn't been himself for quite a while. Savathûn, the sister of shapes, the witch queen herself, revealed to Guardians that she had traded
Yeah.
places with Osiris months prior.
traded places, transposing herself.
People don't want to read it. People don't want to hear
Also,
it. People have decided that he was possessed and that's it.
Just because of the glowy eyes and the animatic, obviously.
Inconspicuous. Thank you, Mal. Yeah. Also, in that same article, they specifically say we want to raise the narrative stakes without killing anyone, which is why Osiris wasn't dead, and he's still not dead, and he's not
But
gonna be dead.
spoiler alert.
But spoiler alert, you're right. How could I forget spoiler alert?
Speaking of like
Next season.
Mylan doesn't read the lore, I guess, because I have a few examples where he actually admitted that he doesn't. So it starts at about 1 hour and 7 minutes and 47 seconds when he's like reading through the lore of this year, and he specifically says that for Achilles Weaves a Cocoon lore book, he straight up says that he doesn't know what that's about, which, again, like I don't mind if like a random normal average player doesn't know. They're not a lore master paid to do lore, but with like Mylin saying I don't know what this lore book is about, like at least like check to maybe remind yourself or something. It's just mind-boggling to me. Also further down, he mentions Dark Future, which he said for Dark Future that he doesn't want to read too much about it because it might be quote-unquote bait and a red herring, and he doesn't want to be baited. Which
says Captain Clickbait.
Yeah, like Captain Clickbait reporting for duty.
Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
And again, like this is a complete misreading of the Dark Future, because if he read Dark Future, then he knows that this is a different timeline, a timeline that has happened and that failed, and then Elsie got looped back at the beginning. So like this is not a bait, it's not a red herring. It's here to tell us of a possible other timelines and how other timelines work. It's not saying anything about
also,
our future. It's
and also, if anything, it's showing that our like what we have is already different, because the young wolf didn't really exist on the level that they do in the Dark Future that they do now, because they never destroyed the Black Heart.
That seems to be
so they never.
That seems to be the thing that differentiates us from that differentiates this future, this timeline, current timeline, from every other timeline that failed, and which is why Elsie is investing in this timeline, obviously, because so far everything has changed, like everything is different. And for another,
and then of course Anna.
Yeah,
being
and Anna, yeah.
more part of her life
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And another lore book that he mentions, well, he sort of implies that he doesn't know what it's about, is your friend Micah Abram. He says
No.
he says Micah has a good story, but I can't. And then he kind of trails off and goes into talking something else. It's about 1
Can't
hour.
what, Mylin?
Yeah.
Can't what?
Literally, I just wrote that in my notes. Like I put question marks and it's like, you can't what?
Can't talk about queer characters?
Is it
That's
because
that's the
Micah
thread.
is a trans woman?
I guess, and also has 2 dads. Micah's story is also very important because it shows us a lot about the Golden Age, a lot about the Clovis stuff, a lot about the facility, the Exo stuff, and a lot about how people were actually roped into being Exos. And also like how a lot of people got transformed without their consent. It's a really interesting like look into that part of the Destiny lore, and specifically relevant obviously for the Beyond Light stuff. It's not like directly.
And this is why Micah Abrams or Micah 13.
10, Micah 10.
10. Micah 10.
Yeah, I remember because Micah is 10 years old in the.
Oh.
I don't know if that's like correlates. Like obviously, I don't know why Micah would have 10 resets, but
also
it's Micah 10.
Bungie.
Yeah, it's
tap.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting.
But also this is why Micah 10 will be a pseudo speaker.
Yeah,
He basically already is like.
Yeah.
She has the thing. Speaking of the speaker.
Oh boy, what has he said now?
Yeah, at 1 hour, 9 minutes and 39 seconds, he starts to with the speaker stuff. First of all, he says that our speaker has been around since before the collapse, which is not true.
That is false?
That is not true. That is not true.
I have to get up and I have to walk this off real quick.
I don't know how he's gonna handle the rest of it.
DS is having.
I really don't.
DS really likes.
I really don't know how he's gonna.
Yeah. So basically.
He's been around since the collapse.
Yeah. He wasn't like. There's been multiple speakers before the collapse.
I'm normal.
Yeah.
I'm normal.
Before the collapse, first of all, collapse, there's been multiple speakers at once. For whatever reason, we are not sure, but maybe like the Traveler was awake, it worked differently, whatever. At the collapse, we have a recounting of a speaker who was there, and then, we have to, for that, that's just literally just the lore book. Where is it? It's called Constellations. It's from Season of Dawn.
I
wonder why.
What could possibly be the thread connecting up? Like, I know. Listen, if we could conspiracy board Savathûn as Osiris from that early.
Yeah. We can.
Here's how Speaker Osiris can still win.
That too, but like if we could do that, if we could connect those dots, I'm pretty sure we can connect Mylin's dots as well.
And basically, after the collapse, obviously, there's been multiple speakers, not at the same time though, as far as we know at least, but they have been, like, they existed. And there's been at least 3 before our speaker. And our speaker is the one who inherited the mask. Some other speaker made the mask.
Or actually.
Did he?
Our speaker didn't make the mask.
Yeah, he didn't make the mask, but he.
There was 4 speakers before the speaker that we know of.
Yeah.
That we know.
That we know. Yeah.
Because the speaker that taught our speaker was not the same speaker that made the mask.
Yeah. So there's been like a 2 in. Yeah, in singing, there's the speaker who made the mask. I'm the first speaker to never dream. And he details how the Traveler is asleep, and he never like really managed to learn the ways of the speaker.
Yep.
So he built a mask, an amplifier. Because a long time ago, long before the collapse, astrophysicists recorded sounds from the planets in our solar system and turned them into music. They translated plasma waves and radio emissions into eerie musical rumbles, roars, whistles, and hisses. The Traveler makes sounds too. Speakers have listened to its music for many years in the form of dreams. Music. Tones.
Tones. Music.
Yeah.
Who was the one that was looking into tones?
It's Osiris, by the way.
I wonder why Mylan hasn't gone over that.
No. But yeah,
You have to be able to connect the dots to do that, Theus.
yeah. That this speaker made the mask, and that mask is an amplifier that makes you able to hear those that like music to get the dreams. Obviously, it's not as good as it was before Speaker was awake, but it's better than nothing. Speaker, Traveler. Yeah, and then after that we have I'm the Last Speaker, which we don't know if he's like directly, but clearly he got the mask from others, from at least one of them before, but like maybe two, maybe more. We're not sure. It doesn't really detail that far, but like he wasn't around since the collapse, because specifically he says, I am the child of two self-exiles, which has been interpreted as possibly him being awoken, because
it would explain why he's lived so long.
He's lived a bit more than the usual human extended lifespan, because he's been around since the early city. Since the Sixth City was
and
first made.
even the Osiris was exiled around, I speculate, 200 years.
So he must have been very, very old.
Yeah.
But also that explains why he couldn't be.
I like ghosts.
That would explain his age, and it would explain why, like, that he cannot be from before the collapse, because the Awoken did not exist before the collapse. And two self-exiles would mean like exiled from the distributary and then exiled from the reef. That's the general explanation. It may not be like that, but that's so far.
Self-exile, I considered like the Awoken that might have chosen to go back to
the Awoken
Earth.
who chose to leave the distributary, and then the ones who chose to leave the reef.
Yep.
So that's the best explanation we have for that specific term. So that's the first problem, and then another problem is that Mylan doesn't mention the mask at all. He doesn't mention the mask. He just, because someone asked if the speaker was just faking it, but he wasn't. He wasn't faking it. He was hearing the traveler. He just wasn't hearing it as clearly, and specifically, he didn't want to. I think it's in the last one.
He didn't want people to doubt him.
I'm the Last Speaker, and I dream.
He didn't want people to lose hope, basically.
He didn't want to make panic, because I'm the Last Speaker, and I dream that the traveler will leave us. And, like, he saw a future where the traveler's light goes out, and he assumed that it's because the traveler is going to leave. And he, like, if he said that to people, they would panic. Like, there would be extreme panic, because, like, a traveler leaving, like, we know what happens, because we've seen the Elixni.
Yeah, and not only that, but like it's not like it's the traveler leaving us because it's done a good job and it's done with us. It's more because we're on the brink of death, basically.
Yeah. And at the end he realizes that when the Red Legion attacks, he realizes, oh shit, this is what I've been seeing. It's not traveler leaving, it's traveler being attacked. And this is why this book has this image. It's the cage over the traveler. That's what he was constantly seeing. Like, but he couldn't see it clearly because of the, issues, because the traveler was not awake. So he predicted the Red War exactly.
You know who else predicted the Red War?
We know who else predicted the Red War.
Here's how speaking.
The sniper took him out. And then, at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 40 seconds, Mylan starts talking about the Tree of Silver Wings.
Jesus. I'm gonna cry. Cry.
I literally just, like, I wrote down Tree of Silver Wings and then put, like, the sad emoji.
No.
And at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 6 seconds,
I'm sad.
He says Osiris steals a silver egg from the darkness.
It's a seed.
From the darkness. Seed. And Mylan also explains that Mara told Osiris that he should, quote, plant the seed. Like, he specifically says plant the seed. And Mylan keeps saying that it was an egg. And
a thing that you plant to grow a tree
Yeah.
out of. An egg.
How do you plant an egg, Mylon? Please call me back. Like, it even fits his bird imagery. Eggs in the chat, boys.
We can't.
I'm just.
We can't do
cannot
this
do
again.
this
I can't do
again.
this
like,
again.
We'll just keep it like clear. First of all, it's a seed, obviously, because he took a seed from the. We'll talk about this at one point, maybe.
Yeah.
What gives me headache?
Yeah, what gives me pause web lore.
What gives me
Yeah,
insanity?
what gives me insane thoughts and mental illness. He visited some place. We'll leave it open. He took a seed, and he used it to plant the tree of silver wings on Io. And we used the seed of silver wings as an artifact in Season of Arrivals. It's a seed, basically. It's not an egg. And like, it's not a slip. Like, he didn't make a mistake in saying egg, because he said egg. He kept saying egg the entire time. Silver egg, silver egg, silver egg. And I'm like, bro. Yeah, Osiris got an egg. Yeah, he does.
He did not get an egg. To clarify, he
Yeah,
did not get an
he
egg.
got a seed.
He stole a seed of silver wings. Well,
Yep.
it's complicated, but like
I know that it's complicated, and obviously maybe he didn't remember all the details, but like, he said Mara told him plant the seed, and he keeps saying egg.
he went out. Yeah, he went out to the heliopause.
Mother Goose moment.
And shit was fucked.
Yeah.
It's so fucked.
That was so insane. Like, we'll go into the details about what gives me pause.
Like, I can understand having trouble figuring out what that one means.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
also, it's a seed.
It's specifically said in the web lore, that he took a seed, and it's called Seed of Silver Wings as their artifact, and Mara said plant the seed. So it's a what, Mylon? And Mylon's like egg. Like,
God.
he literally said the words like plant the seed, so he obviously remembers the stuff from the Trials and Tribulations lore book, where Mara tells Vance to tell Osiris to plant the seed. So like, what the hell? He was trying to remember
It's just a
his
game of
groceries.
telephone.
Eggs were on the list, yeah.
Honestly, it'd make more sense than anything else he says in the rest of that video.
Yeah, there's like other stuff, but I also only noted a few other things. At 1 minute 16, at 1 hour 16 minutes, he's. I don't think we've seen Zavala wield different classes. Not true. He has. We know that he wields a striker. He's a striker titan, and he is using Void. We've seen. We know it from the lore master, and we know it from the cutscenes. And obviously in Red War, he uses the Ward of Dawn, and in Season of the War, the cutscene when he and Anna are attacking the Almighty, he is using Striker. But it's also mentioned in, I think in Bounty text, that I think in in Crucible Bounty's text, Shax is like, you should have seen Zavala as a Striker or something like that. It's very interesting because it seems that he changed what he prefers using depending on the situation. Like, it's kind of, I know that like these like older guardians all use like pretty much all classes.
I know that Zavala doesn't use any solar because of the Sunbreakers on Mercury, the mercenaries. Osiris had a thing with him when he was Commander of Vanguard, but Zavala viewed that as he didn't like the terms to it, so he broke the contract, and they were mad about that. So
Interesting.
Here you go, Bounty, Chain Lightning, get Arc kills on Titan. Quote, ever since I joined the Vanguard, I've been drawn to Arc energy. Maybe it's because of Zavala, ...
Yeah.
He's the strongest striker I know, Commander Sloan.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew that it was.
And that was from Forsaken. Yeah.
And again, we've literally seen cutscenes about this. So like.
Yeah.
I think it's mentioned in the Zavala's in the lore about his wife, Bonjour, delivery truck, Bonjour, that he used a little bit of solar to like do tricks for his wife, like light the candles with with his fingers and stuff like that. but like that's not exactly using solar as in combat basically. So, but obviously all of these guardians can use all of it. It's just some things they prefer more, they prefer less. And Zavala obviously prefers striker. He seems to be using that more when he's like in a situation for it, but in other situations he seems to be preferring ward because he's a protector of the city.
Here you go, this one from Dawn.
Yeah.
Zavala may carry the shield of a sentinel today, but you should have seen what he could do as a striker,
Yeah.
Shax.
Okay, so he did like a little bit of a change. So he did
Yeah.
use to favor striker, and then he changed to ward, but then in Season of the Worthy he goes back to striker because again they stop defending city.
I'd imagine
they start attacking again.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah.
shift in the mindset basically, which is really interesting.
It's philosophy shifts.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
Yeah.
Zavala is boring and has no lore, according to Mylin, by the way. I don't know. And one more thing for this video, which I have to mention because it's about my other Blorbo, which is the Aphelion. In 1 hour 30 minutes, he talks about the Aphelion, and he mentions that we only know about the Aphelion from scannables in the Dreaming City, which is not true. We know about it from also the book, The Dreaming City, which is kind of pretty, like, very much interesting and very important. It's a whole lore page about how the Aphelion attacked a reef space station and what it did, and basically killed everyone. And it's one of the most substantial like lore pieces, not just like a scannable in a Dreaming City. It's pretty terrifying and very interesting. That's the only thing I wanted to say. Mylin, fight me in the parking lot. I know more about you than when it comes to...
You know more about Mylin?
Yeah. Oh my god. That was the first video only. I see. We've gone insane. The second video...
Oh god.
It's a little bit more...
I'm not strong enough.
Yeah, it's a little bit more concise, I think, because there weren't as many questions. It was just with Asked Across.
Ooh, the Asked Across one. Ugh.
Oh god, Theus, you're not gonna like this.
no.
2 minutes and 10 seconds, the first question was about darkness and light. And Mylin says,
Oh, no.
darkness and light are above Gardener and Winnower.
What?
Which is not true.
What? Huh? No. No. What? No.
We got him.
I have to do something about this, man. I have to do something about this.
We got him. Gardener and Winnower are
You've been
literally
sniped.
what created everything. Darkness and light did not exist before Gardener and Winnower. So Gardener and Winnower are the top. They are the thing. We don't know if there's anything
And
above
so
them.
the light, the traveler, and the gardener are all the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like the light is basically the gardener's blood.
Yeah. And like
I'm so
light and darkness are basically just like physical manifestations of the Gardener and Winnower. Yeah, they're like we use them as tools.
Yeah, pretty much.
with the gardener and the traveler, the traveler is like it's a heavy body that the gardener carries.
Yeah.
The traveler and the gardener are one and the
Yeah.
same, but the traveler, the orb shape, that is basically what it uses as to get around.
Yeah.
It's like a vehicle.
Yeah, because the Traveler like the Winnower in the Unveiling lore book, the Winnower specifically says that the Gardener inserted itself into the game. That's
Yep.
the whole difference. The Winnower didn't. The Winnower is still somewhere, which is why there is an entity in the darkness, and why the darkness and the Winnower are not the same thing. The darkness is just a tool, and it's using the pyramid ships and the worm gods and whatever to move around. But the Winnower itself could still possibly be in that original garden, or like somewhere else in like outside of space and time. But Gardener inserted itself into the game, which is why it's vulnerable and why there's only one traveler, and meanwhile there's like a million ships and a million like creatures that follow the darkness, because it's
Yep.
the voice in the darkness, the entity. That's why Savathûn, like in Presage, says that they're different. Like they're similar, but they're different. Like our understanding of darkness is a facade because we don't understand that darkness is just a tool that's being used by something above. So like, no.
Here, I can bring up the exact thing that's the traveler discussing what its body basically is.
Yeah, you can find that. Meanwhile, I'll also mention some other thing that he also mentioned that's also connected to the traveler, to the gardener and Winnower, which happens a little bit later, like 20 seconds after that. He says they lived in balance in the Black Garden, and like
they did.
Black Garden is not the same as the garden outside of space and time where the gardener and Winnower fought. It's not the same thing.
It doesn't really exist in a physical sense anymore.
Yeah, it's no, this is extremely
It
complicated.
never did.
Yeah, they never did.
It wasn't.
They never did. Yeah, they never did.
Because it was before anything even existed, so it couldn't have.
Yeah.
And the Black Garden is not the same.
Yeah, Black Garden is not the same
because it exists in a physical sense.
Yeah. And also, like both Osiris and Mara have apparently had some sort of interactions with the original garden, or like with that space beyond space and time, basically. Mara had a vision about it, and Osiris potentially
Here it is.
Went in there, but that's for what gives me.
But again, what gives me headache?
Yeah, that's for later. I found it. Here it is. It's from Ghost Fragment. The Traveler dreams of Alpha Lupi.
Oh.
But memory is heavy now. It feels like lead and neutronium, an electro-weak matter fashioned into a moon-sized ball that you must carry as you move.
Yeah, that's pretty clear. Like as far as I'm concerned, and especially since it's been clarified in Unveiling that like Winnower says, the gardener made a bargain and it put itself into the game, which means as in into the life itself, into the universe that it created.
Yep.
And that's the difference between them. Like the Winnower doesn't do that. The Winnower doesn't want to get its hand dirty.
Exactly.
So like Mylin, please, bestie, if you need help, we can help.
Worsty.
We can help. I promise. There is a way.
I don't want to help this man. I want to see him suffer.
Oh my god. There's like
I want to help the people who listen to it.
Yeah, I want to help people to understand better. But like they spent 4 or 5 minutes talking about Skira, which is literally mentioned once, and we genuinely have no clue what it is. And I'm not even gonna waste time. Like it's been mentioned by Mithrax, by some sort of a legendary creature that attacked the Elixni, and we don't know what it is. And saying stuff like, "Oh, is Skira the entity? Is Skira the darkness? Is Skira controlling Ziwarath? Is Skira my grandma? I don't know. Like I don't care. We don't know yet. We don't have enough information." And then at 8 minutes and 45 seconds, he starts talking about the God Wave, the fundament.
Not this.
And like as a part of that,
this.
at 10 minutes, he says, "The worm gods are trapped on the fundament and have to escape, so they, quote, call the actual hive homeworld to crash into the fundament, which crashed and created the continents that the hive lived on." Okay.
What?
It's like the books of Sorrow specifically say that like the worms called some of the planets that start crashing into the fundament to kind of find a host to take them out of the fundament. So that's true. However, that tells us that it's almost like the worm gods, which serve the darkness, have the powers of gravity. Isn't that like
interesting?
because they're calling the planets to fall into the fundament?
Very interesting.
And then
I wonder if this is important at all.
I don't know, maybe. And then at 10 minutes and 40 seconds, Mylin says the God Wave was the Traveler's way of destroying everything on the planet to prevent the worm gods from forming a symbiotic pact. What? The Traveler's way?
I'm just too angry to say anything.
And then I made a note because back when he was talking about darkness and light, he specifically said in the first question that Gardener is creation and that Winnower is destruction. So explain to me, why would the
The
traveler,
gardener
the gardener, the light, why would
created
yeah.
the god wave.
Got him, got me.
This is bullshit. This is
Obvious.
bullshit. I can't.
And then, like, at first he's explaining the story from the perspective of the hive, so I thought maybe, like, he's talking about just how the hive see it, because the worm gods did tell the hive, hey, the god wave is caused because there's an extra moon in the orbit, and it's the traveler. The traveler is creating the god wave, so please get us out. Oh my god, but then at 11 minutes and 25 seconds, Mylin says, like, confirms, so yeah, traveler killed trillions, by the way. And then he jokes with Astacross about how we work for the traveler who killed so many creatures. And, like, yeah, Kraken Mara, yeah, literally. Like, almost like there's an entire lore book that is directly paralleling what happened on the Fundament, with darkness showing up to our system and using gravitational powers to warp Titan, the moon Titan, and create a wave that literally wipes out entire Titan in, like, a single use of gravity. Nothing else. No weapons fired, nothing that can be stopped. It just used gravity, warped Titan, like, into an elliptic kind of shape. Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's, like, released it.
Literally
Like
the
snapping
exact same
elastic
as
band.
Fundament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it created
snapping an elastic band.
a huge wave that killed everything, because that's what happens when gravity is fucked with, which is exactly the same as the Fundament. And it was like, and again, another thing with the Fundament stuff is that Savathûn, ironically, figured out the truth. Savathûn, we don't know when, but at some point she realized that the worms were lying to them, and that it wasn't the traveler that caused the god wave, as they believed, but it was them, like, it was the darkness, which is one of the reasons why she doesn't want to, like, be with them anymore. It's not the only reason, obviously, but, like, it's one of the reasons why she kind of started doubting the pact, and why she wants to distance themselves, like, all the hive want to distance themselves from, at least her hive, from the worm gods, because the worm gods lied to them, and it was her fault.
Yep.
Because she's the one who listened to the worm to go make the pact, so she feels responsible, like, for ruining her family, basically.
Yep.
Oryx watching this, I wonder if that's related. Probably not. And then, of course, they move on later in 14 minutes. They start talking about Leviathan on the Fundament, and Astacross asks, why didn't the Leviathan kill the hive siblings if he knew they were going for the worm gods? And then Mylin answers, I don't know why the Leviathan didn't do anything physically to stop them. Maybe because it's an agent of the light, and the light doesn't kill things?
It's all about choices.
Yeah.
And giving you the space and the options
Yeah.
to make the decision yourself and to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because somebody's holding a gun to your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Leviathan specifically told the sisters, or rather, well, siblings, the Leviathan told them, don't do this, please choose the light. The light can save you also. Like, do not go down there. Do not seek the deep, because you will get, like, the short end of the stick, basically. And, of course, to the siblings, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we live, like, short lives, we die, we don't have anything, we're gonna get killed by the god wave, fuck you. And, like, they left. And, of course, the Leviathan's not gonna stop them, because that's not how the light does things. The light does not force you, it wants you to have a choice. The light doesn't even want to kill the worm gods, because according to the light, according to the gardener,
Even the worm.
yeah, everything has a right to live. Like, even the worms. Which is why is that in
It's in MK4. I actually have it open right now.
Stand asides.
Yeah, this stand asides. It says, the gardener is hard to bother. They are constantly amidst their weeds, kneeling in the tangent dust, gloves covered in a mix of distant soils and metallic saps. They are listening to the music of the insects amidst the flowers, and the unguent as it begins to drip from the ferns, the slight scratch of the worm beneath, and not to you, and certainly not to your cries of help.
Yeah. Like, the gardener knows that the worms are there. The gardener knows that, like, all the evil, quote-unquote, things exist. But according to the gardener, it's not
It's
supposed to.
philosophy.
Yeah, it's not supposed to like kill them. It's literally it's the opposite of what the Winnower does.
Darkness.
Like the Winnower just wants to kill the weak. It's like if you're weak.
And if I can add,
Yeah.
the Traveler didn't even fight back
Yeah.
really against the darkness during the collapse. What it did instead was create. It made ghosts.
Yeah. That's very interesting, like as a parallel. Even on the fundament, like it didn't the Traveler didn't fight back directly. It's it's implied that it also like did something similar to some of the other species, as it did with the humans, like that it gave them some sort of powers to fight back, but it didn't fight back personally. It just kind of
it gave them the choice.
Yeah, it gives them the choice. You can defend me, or you can just fuck off. You know, it doesn't care. Meanwhile, the Winnower is like, you have to kill the weak, and you can like scheme and murder and whatever, like as long as you.
When you have to do it forever.
Yeah, and
Yep.
like again, this is about the Books of Sorrow, which he specifically like worked with Bungie to create the first volume. So like I'm extremely confused that he would say that the Traveler did this. Like again, him explaining this from the Hive point of view, sure, because that is true. Hive did think, because the worms told them. Like the worms straight up said, the reason Syzygy is coming is because there is an extra moon in the orbit, which is also like weird because we know who uses gravity first of all. Like the darkness uses gravity to attack. But second of all, we know that the Traveler, it doesn't seem to have any mass. Not in a traditional sense, because if it did had any mass, then Earth.
The oceans would sure be fucked up.
The Earth would have been fucked up, because the Earth is a very small planet, considerably, like in the grand scheme of things, and it already has a huge moon, like unnaturally huge moon in comparison to the size. So if it had another, the size of the Traveler, the tides and the climate...
That much closer.
Yeah, that much closer. It would have been thoroughly fucked. Like, there would be no life on Earth. Yeah. Obviously, it's paracausality and blah, blah, but that's the point. It's paracausal entity. It doesn't have the same mass as a regular moon. So it could not have possibly caused the syzygy, like, physically. It's, a literal interpretation of paracausal. Like, it does not cause anything. It can't.
Yep.
So, like, that's...
It's outside of it.
Yeah, like, what the hell? Like, how can you say that the Traveler killed trillions? Like, it's some kind of an edgy... It's the edgy Traveler is evil theory. Like, we've been through this. Come on. Like, please stop. There's like...
It doesn't stop, though. It gets worse.
There's like 6 or 7 minutes about Calus, which, I mean, whatever. There's nothing like wrong said about him, so like I don't care. It's his blurb. I enjoy. But then also at 20 minutes 39 seconds, he's like, the Guardians don't follow the philosophy of the light. We proved the sword logic. We haven't been beaten. We haven't been killed. We keep cutting away weakness, and the darkness would probably argue, yeah, that's correct, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. But that's not true. We do follow the light.
Wrong.
Like,
wrong.
We didn't. We sort of proved the sword logic, but we didn't follow the sword logic. Because we didn't make a
We're not
had that whole thing with Toland.
Yeah.
That was a
we're
whole
not actively
plot point.
choosing to follow this.
Yeah, we are like stronger, but we specifically refuse to take place. Yeah, we ignore the sword logic in the Oryx trade. Yeah, we do. And Toland is angry about it. Because Toland is like, well, you defeated Oryx, you should take his place. Yeah. And we specifically do not. Because that's not how we do things. So, like, that's mind-boggling because it's just...
And, like, the Traveler also, like, the Gardener is, like, I believe that given power over reality, people will make a gentle kingdom surrounded by spears.
Yeah.
And that's basically what's going on.
literally.
Like we're actively in an alliance with one's enemies.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
directly.
So that's absolutely not following the
Yeah.
sword logic.
Yeah, literally. Literally. And also, like, we haven't been beaten. We have been beaten. Gaul defeated us. Like,
Many
Gaul
times.
took the city.
Sav's whole
Yeah.
thing at the beginning of Splicer, where you talk to her,
Yeah.
not Splicer, Lost, where you talk to her and she's like, I delivered Thingy on his knees, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, and we went, no, we'll be besties.
Yeah. It's the same thing. She wanted us to go into war with the Cabal, but she failed.
Yep.
Because Zavala specifically was like, no, actually, we can do this without having to do a war. And she was.
I love Zavala's ability to use the word no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was pissed.
It's so
like, she
good.
tried to goad Zavala into, like, provoking
Yep.
him, into provoking Keitel.
And she split the Saladin.
Yeah. Yeah, she tried
From
to.
Zavala,
Yeah, she tried to do it with Saladin as well, and then. But, like, everything happened, and then we just, like, no. In fact, I will marry Keitel. Yeah, as well. It's like, no, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll do the opposite of war. Like, good
Yeah.
for him. And also, like, the Winnower doesn't care about. Like, the Winnower didn't care about us at all. The Winnower literally tells the Gardener, literally tells us, I didn't give a shit about you until the Gardener made you important. Like, we are important because we believe we fight for the light. And Winnower thinks that's strong enough and wants us to fight for it. Solely because the Gardener chose us, because the Gardener made us important, because of, the wager, which is in the Unveiling.
I don't think he's read Unveiling though.
Yeah, probably. It's just.
I don't think he's read most of it. I think he's read
Yeah.
like the shit Spark Notes equivalent on Destinypedia.
He's read about Calus, except that one lore where Drifter goes up to Calus, I guess.
He's read the lore about Calus that lives in his head.
Oh my god. More about him, like, not understanding light. At 25 minutes 35 seconds, where Astacross asks, "Are ghosts like worms?" And then Mylene's like, "Well, ghosts are sort of parasitic," which I literally
I knew it was coming, and I still just.
I'm having triple the mental illness
Please.
right now.
Please, can I buy you a dictionary? Can you spend some of your ridiculous amounts of money that you earn via the internet on buying a dictionary so that when you say things, you can look up words before you say them?
Yeah, it's like, it's symbiosis, but not all symbiotic relationships are the same. And ghosts are not parasites. And, like, their reasoning was like, well, the ghosts can't do anything on their own, so they need us to do things for them. But that's not what
There are whole things of ghosts doing shit on
there's
their
not
own.
like there are a lot of ghosts who do not have guardians and who work on their own. Like, obviously they can't.
It's especially come up in the Collector's Edition as well.
Yeah. They obviously can't, like. They specifically said, like, well, when I see a ghost shoot a Nova bomb, I'll think of them, like. That's not the only way you can have power.
Yes, the only use a person has is their ability to kill
Yeah,
things.
like, what?
That's the only value
It's
a
not like
person
we
has.
use a ghost to,
Right.
like, scan things and to know things and, like.
Ghosts can also scan your vitals.
Yeah.
Other people's vitals as well.
Yeah. And ghosts have a lot of abilities that not even ghosts are aware of, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they don't know about each other.
Sagira.
Oh my god, Sagira. Literally the most powerful
Don't make me cry about
ghost.
Sagira.
Peach, and also, Peach is
The most ghost of ghosts.
the most ghosts. It's just, ghosts, just for the record, ghosts are not parasites. They're not parasitic. They are in a very much mutually beneficial relationship with the Guardians. They're not.
It's the union beings.
Yeah, it's just, you're wrong, Mylan, about this one. You lost this one, Chief. There's probably a very good reason why the ghost can't use light for offensive. Yeah, probably. And we know they can use their own bodies to kill, like the Drifter's ghost. Literally kill the person by just ramming itself into their head. It's just kind of creepy.
Destiny if Ghost had a gun.
Destiny if Sagira had a gun.
Well, yeah.
Taking the gun away from Sagira.
Yeah.
Taking the gun away from Sagira is like the rest of the story. until final shape. Final shape is Sagira with the gun.
Sagira is the final shape.
Sagira with the gun.
Taking the gun away from Sagira was just Immolant Part 2, wasn't it?
Oh, I hate you.
Biting?
Ow!
Biting?
Wow!
Biting?
Listen,
Wow.
I'm here to make the bad jokes. You know
Oh
this.
my
This is
God.
my function in this space. I make the shit jokes. I never said they were good.
There's
I laugh or I cry.
yeah, there's some
Usually
stuff
I do both.
about because the season is called the Season of the Risen next season. Astacross was like, does that mean that any of the Dark Age Guardians are gonna come back? And what do you mean come back? In what way? Like they're guardians. And then Mylin says that he can't really remember about the Dark Age a lot. Something like that. He mumbles.
He didn't read anything about it.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure. And then he says Citan comes to mind, but I can't remember exactly his story. Yeah, he was killed by Fellwinter. Fellwinter killed Citan by using a shoulder charge as a warlock. How can you not remember that? How do you not remember?
And then he shot his ghost.
Yeah, I don't remember the most iconic Fellwinter moments. Yeah, and then like
Reminder, what's Fellwinter got in common with all of the other things that we've had in common so far?
oh, he's gay. And like he forgets to mention, I guess, that pretty much all of the high rank guardians that are currently alive are from the Dark Age. Shax is from the Dark Age, Saladin's from the Dark Age, Saint 14, Osiris, Drifter, hell, even
well, Saint's more from the early city age.
yeah, sort of, yeah, something like that. But
it's like on the edge of Dark Age
it's
and
on
City
the edge.
Age.
On the edge.
Age.
But there's like
All age isn't wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot of guardians who have been risen in the Dark Age that are still alive, like Shax, who was a literal warlord. It's just, how do you fail to like Dark Age guardians coming back? What does it mean? Like they're alive, they're still here. It's
It means I won't ride the Vian too.
yeah, and
Season of Siva or else.
you can get Ifrit back. Oh my god, please.
I'd have it. I'd have Aphrodite back.
She Aphrodite is looking for the other speaker, so she might come back with someone.
She's already found them.
Yeah. Oh, she did.
Yeah, in the peaceful guardian colony.
Oh, is she there with the...
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the oh, what ghost shell was that?
Cosmos.
It's a ghost shell, and
it's a Cosmos ghost
yeah,
shell.
the Cosmos ghost shell. The person that she's talking to, over the comms says that the whole cosmos are ablaze.
Yeah.
And in the quest line where you get your next, like, where you get your third light branch from all the way back in Forsaken, that line is repeated by the Traveler.
Oh, really? I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot a lot
So
about from the
that person that she was talking to is
someone,
a speaker, not in the sense that we know them,
but they definitely
a speaker.
feel something.
Yeah, a speaker that that the Traveler has felt.
It's very interesting because it's like she cried when the Traveler woke before her eyes. At her hip, a radio blinked to life. Like immediately after the Traveler woke, she gets the radio call.
Yep.
And then she says, and then she answered it with trembling fingers. And the first thing she says is, "I know." So it means that whoever is on the other side was telling her the Traveler is back. How would that person know if they're on the other side of the solar system? And then she says, "I can see it, I can feel it. Even the stars are brighter now," said the voice over the radio.
No, she doesn't say that. The other,
the other.
She says, "I know," onto the.
Yeah, she says, "I know, I know," and then "I can see it, I can feel it," and then the other person says, "Even the stars are brighter now." And the whole cosmos is ablaze.
That's the line.
Yeah, that's the line. And then
that's the line.
She closes her eyes and, "I can't wait to see it. I'm coming home. Aphrodite out."
And the Traveler's whole thing about talking about speakers is the tiny sea of stars.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really interesting. Which I'll also repeat some of the stuff the speaker says during the Red War. Yeah. Yeah, the Risen is just a name for guardians, for hive guardians, because hive, the Lucent hive are not the guardians; they are just Risen hive. They
Like
can,
guardians are only
yeah,
guardians now.
yeah, guardians are only guardians now because they are guarding the city. The Lucent hive are not. Guardian is basically like a job description. It's not a
Yeah.
inherent thing.
Hmm.
I mean, when we brought Crow back from
It's
Spider,
also kind of a philosophy
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
think
it's also
about it.
philosophy
yeah.
because like
There are Risen who aren't guardians.
yeah, Drifter doesn't
Yeah.
consider himself a guardian. He calls himself a light bearer. Doesn't even have a class. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't view
Yeah.
himself like that. And he also always
whereas
Drifter always calls like if he always when he talks about guardians he talks in the second person. He always like you guardians are nuts, as if he's not including himself.
Yeah. Oh, and then an interesting note is that Osiris is rarely addressed as a guardian. He's addressed as a warlock,
Yeah,
just not a guardian
probably yeah
in
because he's very
particular.
old. So
Yeah.
Crow,
And also I'd imagine because he's exiled.
Crow had the title of Rogue Light Bearer in Hunt. Yeah, Crow as well wasn't
Yep.
considered a guardian, and there was the whole thing with yeah no Crow had a title of unclaimed, like they call him
Freelance.
unclaimed light bearer or something like that, amnesiac
In the
light bearer or
letter.
something like that. But
No, they call him freelance light
yeah,
bearer now.
yeah, they have a lot of different like, but they do call him light bearer until we rescue him, and particularly we yeah freelance light bearer. Thank you, Mal. When we rescue him and he's like, "Why did you rescue me?" We tell him because you're a guardian, and then he
is you're a guardian, yeah.
and then
And then there's all that stuff in Harbinger.
yeah,
where
yeah,
He's like, I'm a guardian.
it's when he finally accepts that he is a guardian. In fact,
And I'm
Yeah.
sat there going,
I'm sad they're crying over a little boy.
yeah,
Um,
crying all over my keyboard.
my cat just jumped on top of me. Oh my god.
Hey, Maxie.
She is very big. Speaking of Crow, on 38 minutes and 15 seconds, Astacross specifically says, I like Crow, but only because I want to see him fall again and become evil all over again. And then Myelin says, I think that's exactly the concept Bungie's playing with. Yes, they are playing
No.
with like the possible idea of like whether is he going to fall or not, but they are very specific about the fact that he is not going to fall.
He's very different from
Yeah. Like they definitely like give us that sort of like topic to explore to like kind of keep us on our toes, but at the end of that they specifically end it with no, Crow goes to Venus. He tests himself to see if he's the same as Uldren. He's crying his eyes out in the ship and Glyn comes to him,
Literally sobbing.
yeah, literally sobbing,
Like, he is having a complete meltdown
Yeah.
at that point. Like, that's not...
Yep.
yeah, and Glint like goes by his heart and is like, it's still you, like you, it's still Crow, it's whoever that person was, they're not here anymore. Like, it's very clear that the point of this narrative was to show us that yes, people can overcome their destiny. It's like,
I wonder why it's called Destiny.
Guardians make their own fate.
yeah, guardians make their own fate.
Eh.
And then
Look, I live in Vogue, trust me.
and then at 40 minutes, Astacross has an entire like fanfic moment where he says that he would like Crow to become an asshole Uldren again and to kill Ikora.
Well,
I don't.
Oh, did you miss this one, Theus?
I didn't, but I did block it from my memory.
Like, why do you want to kill Ikora, Myelin? Just a question. Answer quickly. Like,
Why do you want to kill the the only black woman on screen?
yeah, who is also a WLW.
Willowick.
Like, Wulu.
Wooloo.
Wulu. Answer quickly. And then Myelin doesn't counter this. Like, Astacross...
Yeah, because Mylan snaps.
Yeah, like, Astacross just writes this entire fanfic and they just laugh at the end. Like, oh, haha, yeah, that would be... Like, if I were Myelin, I would be like, no, you're stupid. Fuck off.
Ew. Wait, I can't say that.
Next stream, I hope his mic is muted. I didn't know this Calus fanfic was getting this out of hand. It is. Oh my god.
I wish it was that simple.
Oh, this is at 45 minutes, 46 seconds. Mylin says, I believe there is some web lore where Anna is working on Rasputin as an exo. Yes.
Gee, I wonder where.
It's called Emolant.
Why is he avoiding Emolant so much?
Say its name.
I can't possibly imagine.
Say the name of the web lore. Mylin challenge. Difficulty impossible. Like,
Yeah, he literally just keeps like referencing it as like some web lore or that one bit of web
Yeah.
lore or some tiny bit of web lore. Like just
yeah,
the
he
whole
never,
time.
even with what gives me pause, he never mentions the name of the web lore. Which, like, maybe he doesn't remember.
I wonder what
but
the connection
like,
is.
if you have to give people the source, please. You just tell them where to go look for this.
Even when he's bullshitting, he's still referencing the same piece of web lore an awful lot.
Yeah, like
It's
and then
almost
not
like
talking
it's
about
yeah,
it. It's like it's
it's
important.
almost Mylin is a Scion scribe confirmed. And then, at 51 minutes and 12 seconds, the worst
Oh,
thing
God,
that
here we
exists
go.
happens.
I don't need coffee for this. I need more alcohol.
Osiris is Savathûn's worm theory. I'm staring at the camera that I don't have currently.
I have to get up and walk around. I can't.
How can it get
I'm in
worse?
pain.
Oh. My cat is having a go at sniffing my pillow. She's like, this is where my human lives.
Yeah.
This is where my human.
She doesn't want you to talk about this one
Yeah,
either.
I'm sorry, Maxi. Yeah, kill bite. Bark, bark, scream. I don't even know, like, goodbye, besties. Good night. I don't even know, like, apparently Osiris's soul was put in Savathûn's worm for reasons. He never explains the motives, the possible motives for this. Like, why would this happen? And the arguments are, Ikora is carrying the worm gently.
I'm normal.
In the cutscene.
I'm normal.
Are you though?
No.
No.
Ikora is carrying the worm gently, which is like, what? She's just carrying the worm. Like, is she supposed to be dragging it on the ground or something? Like, she's just holding the worm in her arms because it's a really big creature, and it's clearly like being used for something.
Don't you know you have to squeeze evil worms
Yeah.
so hard they nearly pop if you're handling them?
He literally says, like, well, just eat it, but she wants to use it for information. Like, Mara literally...
It's almost like information is her whole thing.
Yeah, Mara literally
Zavala
says
said
that
punching it.
the worm can give us insight. Because it can. Like, even worms, when they're dead, they can still provide information. And they want...
I mean, that was a whole thing in the Books of Sorrow.
As much information.
A thing that he should know about.
Yeah, imagine. Like, why are people like obsession with souls in Destiny? I don't know. It's just, I don't even know how to add to this theory more, because it's literally
What I can say is that they're like, oh, there has to be a reason why he's in a coma. The reason is simple. He's traumatized, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons. Like, oh, Osiris is back, but he is in a coma. What could that possibly mean? Maybe his soul is in a worm. No, he has been tortured and almost dead for a year by a hive god.
He's been lifeless, tortured. He's had to watch people not recognize that it was not him.
Yeah. What the hell?
It's almost like that is extremely taxing.
We don't even know where
on
he
your
was.
body and mind
did
and
she
soul.
Feed him? What did she feed him? Like, was he in some sort of a hellish cryostasis made by the hive? Like,
Was he in a crystal of some kind?
Like, obviously he's in a coma. Yeah, he survived something that, like.
The only the only context we have for this is Wolf
Yeah,
Tone.
and according to Wolf
And
Tone,
he's not in a good way in
yeah,
Wolf
and
Tone.
Wolf Tone, he's
Yep.
bound somewhere. So
He
obviously
can't
he's
move, can't see,
yeah.
can't talk, can't
yeah.
like
What's
feel.
loading screen? Yeah, like
He was basically in a sensory deprivation
yeah,
tank.
he was in
Yeah.
some kind of cryo, I
And the
think.
only
Obviously of hive
and
origin.
yeah, and the only bit of anything he got was seeing
Yeah.
people that he cared about,
And
Yep.
not recognizing.
the only
Yep.
and he was, by the way, that was explained how he was seeing things. He was marked by a rune, and the same rune was used by Savathûn to mark herself. So they were connected through the rune, to the high rune, and that's how she.
It's also how they switch places.
Yeah, that's how they switched places, and also how she was using him to like extract his information, his memories, at least a portion of them, and how he was seeing what she was doing, basically, because they were connected with the
Yep.
hive
Yep.
rune. It's very simple.
Yeah.
And he's
You're just overcomplicating it because you're mad about the.
Yeah.
You're wrong that Osiris
yeah,
is gonna die.
like we got Osiris back alive, and he immediately created a theory about how he is actually technically still dead because his soul is in a worm. Why though?
And also, we're then going to use the worm
Yeah, like
in
my God,
the
yeah.
worm launcher.
yeah, I think Astacross added that. Like, oh, are we gonna put that worm in the worm launcher? Alan Hull, are we gonna put that worm in the worm launcher? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, genuinely, what are you
Why
guys
do you
talking about?
why do you want a gay man of color to be dead or suffering so badly?
Yeah, and to be turned into a worm, like.
Big
They
mystery.
also talk about how Savathûn wouldn't have any. Oh, hi Echo. I'm so sorry you came back for the Osiris as a worm. They also talk about how Savathûn wouldn't have any use for him. She would just kill him. Like, you guys are very stupid. Like,
The whole point of this season has been Savathûn goes up to Mara and goes, "I've got one of your besties trapped. You're gonna sort my worm out, and I'll give him back."
that's literally the
That
whole
was
point.
her whole
And
thing,
the problem,
because otherwise they'd have just killed
and
her.
people are stupid about, like, oh, Mara was so stupid. She didn't kill Savathûn. She didn't know what's gonna happen because Savathûn deliberately didn't give all information. She just said, I have Osiris, and they knew that she has Osiris. That's the only thing they knew. But how are they linked? How is she gonna give him back?
Like, what kind of hostage
Yeah,
is he? Like,
it's very risky to do anything to her before we get Osiris back. And obviously she cared about giving us Osiris back because, again, he's her bestie. They made the plan to kill orcs together with Eris. So, like,
Yeah.
he's obviously a very powerful person who knows a lot. So,
And like not only that, but they apparently also just kind of had like social calls
yeah,
from time to time.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Osiris had social calls with a lot of people.
he used to talk to Mara about Saint all the time.
Yeah,
Yep.
apparently, yeah. And apparently,
It's one of the lines in Shattered Realm.
And I like how he talked to Eris a lot, but like was keeping everyone else on red.
He's ghosting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fair. Erisa wasn't around for that. Neither was Mara.
Yeah.
And like, again, I just this whole theory is just completely, absolutely, as the Star Horse would say, utterly bonkers. Like, it's based in nothing. It's also based on a tweet from Savathûn. Like that's where it came to him. Like, because Savathûn said, "I gave you back a man like in rags that resembles a man. You have fun piecing him back together." And he was like, does that mean that literally piecing him back together? Like, he's been separated from body and soul? How do you come... What? How do you come up with that sort of so literal, like... It's completely, like, it's mind-boggling to me. Like, she's mocking us. That's what she's doing.
Yep.
She's mocking us.
Yep.
Like, she's telling us he was, a lightless phoenix, your best, and I gave him back, like, as a person in rags. And, have fun, like, healing him, It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I don't... Like, why do you want him dead so much? What did he do to you? Like, we know that he's going to be important again. We know it from Imoland, where Sagira says, there's still stuff left for you.
Don't lose hope in the darkness.
Don't lose hope in the darkness. There's still things left for you to do, and she has seen it. Like, she literally saw that this is not the end of his story. So I don't know how clearer we can get. It's just... And then after that, yeah, I wonder what the connection is. Gay.
Jeez, Mylan, why are you so avoidant to talking about queer characters? I wonder why.
Why?
You know, and it kind of bugs me because when we talked about how that seemed to be an issue, like like we were like, um, it's kind of strange that Mylan it has this tendency to go after Osiris so
Yeah.
much when Osiris is one of the few openly gay
Yeah.
characters. Well, not few, it's one of the many, but you know what I
True.
mean. Um, you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
But then people were like, I don't think that's the case. And now it's like there are too many things
Yeah, it's
for that to not be the
like,
case.
I definitely want it to not be the case. Like, I don't want to, like, just call people, like, homophobic or something and just, like,
But
cancel them. But, like,
also,
please think about, like, why certain thoughts come to you. Because
yeah,
we all have
yeah.
biases. Like, we all have, like, these weird, like, things that we don't even, like, we're not even
And it's
conscious
like,
of them.
and it's like,
And, like,
why do you
yeah,
want,
like,
why do you want Saint to suffer
yeah,
too?
exactly. Like, why do you want
Like, why do
saints?
you want to take Saint's lover away from
Yeah.
him?
What?
Was there a reason behind that? Besides, oh, I just want him to go on a crusade again, which is very
Yeah,
shallow.
it is.
So it's like,
Yeah. Like, just
what am I supposed to do about this, you know?
also, like, in general, well, like, Destiny has so many, not just LGBT characters, but also, like, people of color, or other characters of color.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
That
like,
too.
please think at least once before, like, making certain assumptions, because they are based in what you actually think. Like, I'm not saying that, like, this can obviously
Yeah.
be fixed. Like, it's not...
It's
not
it's in accent like just
yeah,
thoughtless
yeah.
racism.
Yeah, it happens to everyone. Like,
It's not like you're
yeah,
actively going out to be
yeah,
racist, but it's like a bias that still
yeah.
exists in your
And
mind.
it exists in everyone, by the way. We all make mistakes sometimes about something that we
Yeah.
have a bias against. It's really not...
You just have
Yeah, you just have to think about it. You just have to, like, introspect, as
And listen,
people in chat said. Like, just kind of think why these ideas come to you. Like, why specifically Saint Osiris? Why specifically Zavala is boring? Why specifically you want Uldren, or rather Crow, to kill Ikora?
why is Saint stupid?
Yeah, why are
like,
these things coming to you? Like, what is the...
like there are so many like fandom views of certain characters. Like, oh, let's not forget, Ikora is aggressive.
Yeah, Ikora is aggressive. Now, the next section, actually, in the video is Mara secretly evil? Because Mara is, of course, a Wooloo. Who is...
And
isn't
also
that
a woman
Pokemon?
that's not that doesn't adhere to
Yeah.
moral black and
Yeah, Mara
white
is a very different
complex
female character
character.
that usually doesn't, like, is not allowed to exist. She doesn't give a shit about you. She doesn't... Like, she does a little bit now. She changed a lot. Like, Ikora
Yeah.
specifically says that in the collector's edition book. But at the beginning, she legitimately didn't care. Like, she was like, I'm better than you. Like, you're not, you're nothing. Like, and people were mad because why is a woman telling me that I am worse than her? Like, how dare she? And, like, I mean, she can. I don't care. She can tell you whatever. And specifically this now, like at 53 minutes, is Mara secretly evil, actually? And the reason is because they talk about the face that she makes, like the face when she talks.
Please.
The animation makes that face to her, like when she's like, haha, I have Savathûn's worm. Like, she's having that face because she has Savathûn's worm. That's it. She's not secretly evil. She's just like, yes, I have something. Like, Savathûn may have escaped me, but I have the worm, which can give me information about her and about the worm gods and about the other hive. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
an important part of the air fryer face. Yeah, like
Yes, yeah, the air fryer
they were
face.
like, oh, it's
Yeah,
evil.
that one.
Like, what the fuck are you people talking about? Like, it's just an animation thing. Not everything has to be like a secret that will like talk about baiting.
You're overthinking
Yeah,
it.
basically overthinking things that are
People-
not there to be overthunk, and then not thinking at all about things that are there to be overthunk. like, like you know, not realizing that Osiris is Savathûn and all that stuff. Clearly, you don't have a worm. And they also have like a whole meltdown over how, because Mara said that the worm is hers, and then later in the cutscene we see that the Vanguard has the worm. Like, how did this happen? How did this? She gave it to us.
Almost like they work together.
Like, is that like? Did you not play Season of Lost? We worked.
Insane? Insane? Am I insane?
Yeah.
Is this gaslight?
Yeah, like, did you not play Season of the Lost, like, straight up? Literally, Season of the Lost is
God.
about the Awoken working with the Guardians. Like, we gave them the wing in the helm, just like we did it with the Elixni. We are allied with them, which is not usually something that happens, because the Reefborn tend to be... They don't really like the city, they don't really like the Guardians. So, you know, they have their reasons, whatever. But in this case, we had to work together, because Mara needed us, the Guardians, to help with the Techians, and we needed her, obviously, for the exorcism, for Osiris. So Ikora and Zavala decided to work with Mara, and also Mara worked with Eris, Mara worked with Osiris, she talked with pretty much everyone, she talked to Crow, she talked to Saint 14, like, we're allies. Mara took the worm first, because obviously she exercised the worm, and I guess she got the information she needed, and then she passed it on, maybe to Eris, maybe to Ikora, maybe to both, like maybe just to the Vanguard in general. It's not as difficult, like obviously we don't know yet, because it's not Witch Queen yet, but like,
Tomorrow.
they made a fucking Stargate to chat and hang out with us, yeah, literally.
12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours, Jesus Christ.
Which means Belle needs to go to bed.
Yeah, soon. Yeah, we're allies. If not like besties, we're allies with the Awoken when with Mara. And obviously, like, there's going to be some questioning of why, like how Savathûn escaped and all that. But like, Mara really couldn't have done anything. She couldn't have risked Osiris getting hurt. Like, until we got Osiris back, there was no way for us to know what's going to happen. And obviously, literally no one in the entire Destiny universe could have thought, oh, Savathûn is going to steal the light? Like, who would think that? It's incomprehensible.
Like, this doesn't... There's absolutely no evidence of it until...
Yeah.
Like, there's not even evidence of it in Exorcism.
Yeah, literally nothing. Like, I guess we... Like, in the trailer with the Titan lady, the live-action trailer, sort of half live-action trailer, Ikora is like, literally like, you really? They're using the light? Like, are you sure? And the Titan lady is like, yeah, I'm sure. I know what I see, what I've seen. And they're like, and then Eris at the end is like, oh my god, what has she done? Like, clearly, we go into Witch Queen not knowing what actually happened.
Witch
Very
Queen is supposed to
clearly.
be about figuring out
Figuring
how
out
that
what
happened.
she what she did. So like, it's not Mara's fault or like whatever.
Mara just didn't watch the trailers,
Mara didn't watch the
obviously.
trailers.
That's the cardinal sin she's committed. She just didn't watch the trailers.
You're right.
And like, another thing about the worm, something that I mentioned after the whole Osiris thing, is at 55 minutes, Mylin says that he thinks that we will get deep sight from the worm, from Savathûn's worm.
Why would Osiris have deep sight?
Yeah, and like,
It's a power of darkness.
Yeah, like, it kind of makes sense that we
Sick.
might get it from the worm. I kind of like that theory. Like, the worm might be able to give us some sort of darkness power, because the worm is connected to darkness. But why would the worm be Osiris then? Like, why is Osiris' soul in the worm, and then worm is also giving us darkness? But like, what is happening with this worm? Is this
Also,
worm okay?
like, souls are...
Is this worm?
Souls are...
Yes.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's like also the thing with the soul in a bug is because of Omar. But like
Yeah.
that's just one example.
And that was an accident.
Yeah, that was also like the hive just making like the hive basically making him like suffer and
Yeah.
Yep.
And like for every joke we make about taking Omar for a walk every time we go and shoot oracles, like it's a horrifying
yeah.
thing.
Also,
Yeah.
it's implied that he's not really alive in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Also, like souls are like a weirdly in like kind of Christian concept anyway.
yeah,
And
it's
Yeah.
like, don't do that.
it's
Don't
not
apply
really
that to
yeah,
Jewish
it's not, yeah, it's not
characters.
something that really happens.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not really something that happens, to be honest, in Destiny. Yeah, Omar wasn't supposed to get
And
turned.
like also applying that to Jewish
Yeah,
characters.
Yeah. Don't do that. Ugh.
Not that
Ugh,
these
on
people,
so many
not that these
levels.
people know that Osiris is Jewish, but
Yeah. TLDR, Mylene, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
and like for the final question, they talk about Imaru a little bit. That was when the first Imaru thing was released only, and there is a brief flashing image. I think I don't think I can find it. Maybe I can actually. Where is that? Flash. I'm pretty sure I posted it. Yeah, there it is. Can I pull it here? Yeah. This is the flashing image that we see. In the first Imaru thing. If it's yeah, it updates, okay. And then Mylin like gets a screenshot from the trailer for Witch Queen, and he says that it looks like the Black Garden, like this flashing image and the screenshot of this image, but just like not warped like this, is about the Black Garden.
Why though?
I don't know, and like
we can still access the Black Garden, not from Mars, from the moon.
Yeah, and he's like,
because that's where the new opening
that
is.
maybe Imaru is commanding the hive from the Black Garden, but like, it's literally just the image. It's the image of the throne world, and you can see like in the actual image, when it's not that warp, like these kind of warp things. In the real image, they are just pillars like this in the back. You can also see the pyramid here.
Pyramid pixel?
Yeah, it's a
really?
pyramid pixel. It's like it's very difficult to see here, but it's a pyramid in the back. And these are these like pillars. They're in the normal picture. They should be the same. There shouldn't be like circles, but they are the same. Like they're just the same old mix of.
Also, that's just not at all the architecture that the Vex make.
Yeah, that's the like this architecture here. These pillars
looks more like IO.
These pillars are like in the better picture. You can actually see that they are a mix of the pyramid kind of architecture and Scorn. So all the new stuff that we see in the new thing that we see in the thing in the throne world, and obviously since the pyramid is in the back. Because I assume maybe it's some kind of clouds, but like it's very straight edge here.
Yeah, no, that's pyramid.
That's the pyramid in the back, and these are all the new architecture pieces that look kind of like a mix between the pyramid texture and the new Scorn stuff. So obviously there have been, like obviously Scorn have evolved in some way, and they're, I don't know, they are gaining new culture, I guess. I don't know, but it's just I don't know why it just doesn't look like the Black Garden. It just doesn't, like that's not what the Vex architecture looks like. I just don't know what like why involve Black Garden here. Obviously this was before, like it was just the first Imaru thing, but
that seems like a weird
it seems like a weird connection.
Stretch.
Like, especially because it looks nothing like the Vex architecture. He specifically says it looks a lot like the Black Garden. And I'm just, which Black Garden have you been in? Like,
This man's never studied architecture. Point and laugh at him.
yeah, like, I can immediately tell because, I mean, anyone with eyes can tell. It's not like anything. You don't have to study. Like, it's just, it's black pillars that look like the pyramid parts and, hi, Ajar. It's just so weird. It's just extremely weird. I don't. That's basically it. That's most of the stuff that I've made notes of. There's some other like minor details, but like I don't really think we have to go over all everything. It's just these are the most egregious mistakes, and just straight up like weird shit like Osiris is a worm.
Misinformation and lies. I'll say it. It's bullshit
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yep.
Like, it's very clear to me that Mylin wasn't very interested in a lot of these points and a lot of these questions and a lot of these like lore pieces, which I mean,
Like, why was he
understandable.
doing it? Why was
yeah,
he
it's
there?
like he's been doing this for like 8 years or something. At some points, everyone kind of probably wants like a out of this wild ride.
Yep.
Possibly even like maybe there are like things that he does like still, but like some things he just doesn't care about. Possibly doesn't really pay attention.
I think he should just shut the fuck up about Osiris, though.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Like with Osiris, just guys, please. Like,
If you don't like him, just stop fucking talking
Yeah.
about him. It's making it
Yeah.
everyone else's issue.
it's because
I have to now. I feel like I'm gonna have to debunk so many things.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get see things and the stupid tags be
Yeah.
like, "Osiris is a word." And I'm
Yeah.
like, no.
like
Now I have to write a 5-page dissertation on why this is
Yeah.
false because Mylan fucking Games decided to spread it around
Yeah.
like it was truth.
Again.
to an extent, Bife as well. Like with the possession.
Yeah, Fife's not helping.
Oh, the
Fife
possession.
keeps doubling down on the possession
Yeah.
thing. They're both doing
It's so
it.
annoying.
It's-
It's so annoying.
It's like Bungie
It's not
cannot be
possession.
clearer about this not being possession.
You know what? I hope that they do. I hope that there's gonna be some lore tab from Osiris being
same.
like it wasn't. I wasn't possessed. I was. It's somewhere
Please,
else.
Bungie, I'm
Yeah.
begging you. A lore.
It's like
lore book?
misconceptions are brought up in lore
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
are generally seen like in a derisive way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bungie often addresses, and also like we are owed a lore book from about Osiris when he comes back to his senses,
Please, Osiris lore book, please.
or a web lore or something. It's like something.
Web lore has been his domain lately.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Lately, you say that like nearly all of the recent web
Yeah.
posts haven't had Osiris.
That's why they.
It was what, Legacy, and that was
Yeah, that's why these lore tubers are talking about Osiris a lot. Is because he's very important. Because he's one of the main characters. He is the main character, actually. It's not the young
He
wolf,
is
it's
the main
Osiris.
character.
Hot take.
Obviously, I think honestly that Osiris and the Young Wolf are kind
Yeah.
of foils.
Yeah, they are.
Mm.
They are, absolutely. Like, they're both kind of crucial. And their relationship is crucial
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
Like, us knowing him and being good with him and helping him. It's like saving his life. And saving a saint as well.
saving his husband.
Yeah, those are very important reasons why this timeline isn't fucked yet. So,
Yep.
it's like he's an important character and he has a lot of important lore. So these people are constantly forced to talk about him, but they don't understand what they're talking about because they're not
Yep.
interested.
Mhm.
And they don't look into it like we do, because we have mental illness, and it's our blorbo. And like
It's our Blorbo.
it's our blorbo. And
Our Ultra Blorbo.
yeah, our blorbo.
yeah.
My Blorbo.
For those who don't know,
Just-
blorbo is like your favorite character, basically. It's a Tumblr lingo. If someone is unaware, it's our blorbo, our fave.
Blorbo.
Just a guy. It's just our bestie, and like
There's no just about him.
yeah, and just I know that he's important, so they have to keep talking about him. But like, please, it's okay to not know things. it's okay.
I don't want
Admit
them to
that you
talk
don't-
about them because they're always wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just ask.
It's okay to not know things. Just admit that you don't know
just
them.
ask someone who knows. Like there's a lot of, it's not just us that like who know lore a lot. Like I've seen a lot of people in Mylin's chat, like correcting him and giving him extra information and all that. Like there's a lot of people who are just average players who don't get paid to do lore, who know a lot more than these people. And like I don't know why that is. Maybe because like when it's a job, you kind of approach it differently. And I know that Bife has talked, like he's talked a lot about how it's very anxiety-inducing to him, like when he doesn't pull out a video in time, and you know, he's constantly apologizing. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get the video out, and everyone's like, Bife, bro, like, it's calm down, it's okay. But like, if that's your job, you really have to be at a different level. You have to have some standards. But also, if you don't know personally, just ask someone who knows.
Or like even admit
Yeah,
that you don't know.
yeah. Just admit like this is not your field. It's totally fine. Like for example, I don't know, the Elixir are not really my field. So whenever I have a question about the Elixir, I talk to my bestie on Tumblr who knows, who has an Elixir PhD, and like just ask for advice. Like ask your audience, ask on Reddit or something, ask on Twitter. Like there's always someone who like really specializes in a topic, and you can ask for advice. You can ask someone to like help you make a script or like give you some extra information, help you find the lore. Like it's fine. You don't have to do this alone. Like it's our destiny lore.
Our destiny.
Yeah, it's our destiny.
Sealed destiny.
Destiny seal is the best. Oh my god. Yeah, it's just please stop saying bullshit. Like also,
Literally.
if you don't know, just say I don't know. Like, why is that so difficult?
Yep.
Like literally, why is that so difficult? It's because they think they know. That's the problem. Like they don't.
It's that, and it's also neurotypical to
Yeah,
have
they-
that thing where like being wrong is like a personal defect
Yeah, and
where
I'm like,
you
bro.
like it's an inherent moral badness thing.
Yeah,
like
like,
it's
what?
not. Stop doing that. Stop being weird
Yeah.
about shit.
Like to me, like if I make a mistake or if I'm wrong or suppose something, I want people to correct me because I want to know the correct information. Like everyone fucks up sometimes. It's totally fine. Like when I fucked up the Savathûn's brackets, Taft was like, "Excuse me."
Spell cancelled.
Yeah, Taft was like, "Savathûn is not using those brackets. She's using the rectangular brackets." And I'm like, "Oh my god." I made a whole post about this and I put in the wrong information. What the fuck? Like I totally blanked in that moment when I was writing that. Like it's just people make mistakes, just correct them. But no, instead of Myling saying I was wrong about Osiris being dead, he's like he can still, this is how Osiris can still be dead. You're like,
Oh, goodness.
why?
You're making yourself look stupid at
Yeah,
this point.
like I'm just
I hope he loses all of his credentials.
Credibility.
Credibility, thank
New
you.
word
You're
dropped.
welcome. Credential. Yeah.
Credibility and credentials together. It's just I also wish that maybe Bife like did something about this because people trust him more. Obviously, like if there's two lore,
But Bife is still banging on about possession as well. So
but like at least about the stuff about the hive, the God Wave, like you genuinely cannot say that the God Wave was made by the Traveler. Like that is factually not correct. It's just not. Like I don't know what has to happen for that to be correct, but like nothing, because the Traveler doesn't use gravity to make anything and it doesn't kill. Like just please. This is like the basic of the Books of Sorrow, that the worms lied to get the hive to follow them and to free them.
was the whole point
Yeah.
of Sav's graffiti.
Yeah. Like
That was the whole point.
she figured out so early that they lied, and she was like, "Fuck this!" And then she became like a hive heretic. She was dabbling in necromancy. She was exiled from the hive. Because it's an
She
immolant.
has a soft spot for exiles.
It's an immolant. It's an immolant.
It's all
What's
in
that?
Immolant. Literally
If
all of
something
it is in
happens in
Immolant.
Destiny lore, it's probably in Immolant. But yeah, she has a soft spot for Exiles, which is God, that's so mean.
It's so mean. It's so
It's so
mean.
fucking mean. Oh my god. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. We don't really have much.
I
Again,
can sit here bitching for the next 3
yeah,
hours, but
same.
also
Because like there
it will
are
just be rehashing the same
there
stuff.
are other
Egg.
bits that I've
Egg.
noted, and there are also 2 more videos of this, but I haven't. One of them is not really a lot of information that I wanted to address, at least not nothing new. And the 4th I didn't watch. It was 2.5 hours, and it's from like 2 months ago.
Not worth it.
So like I can't go into another one of these. It's too much. It's just weird, and I'm like, please, bestie, worsty. I don't know.
Listy.
Worse.
A lot of these
Definitely worsty.
like some of these things are obviously a little bit specific, so maybe like you forgot. But stuff about like the books of sorrow, you can't. You're not allowed to forget this. As someone who
This is supposed to be your domain.
yeah, it's literally like
Yeah.
you made the first volume with Bungie, and you are paid to do this. And L plus ratio plus you are wrong, and
I don't think we're going to ratio Milo. I don't think
Not
we've got
yet,
the followers for it.
I want to ratio him.
I do too, but
please, like at least I just wanted to get this out.
we don't have fancy graphics. We don't have fancy graphics. Is all we
I
need.
just wanted to get this
Yeah.
out of my system, just for the record, that we
Yep.
addressed, like especially like these most egregious examples of
Yeah.
being wrong.
The worm.
The worm.
Maybe we'll find out.
He's not a worm. He's not a
Myelin.
fucking
We'll
worm.
find out in 12
Myelin
hours. Why,
Worsty.
Myelin, please? It's not that difficult.
How did you even come up with this one?
It's literally just because of the tweet.
I know, but
It's like,
I mean, that was more Savathûn being like, he's alive.
yeah,
like, yeah, it was.
Dumbasses.
Yeah. It was literally like someone was like, "Oh my god, is Osiris dead?
Yeah.
Did you kill him?"
yeah.
And Sav's like,
No, he's alive, but he's
No.
like fucked up.
"No, I just broke him."
Yeah.
Like,
God, yeah, she broke him.
he's
She
like-
broke him.
She's like, "I broke him."
Yeah, and she
I'm
did
sure you'll put
because
him back together again.
and she did break him because we see that in Wolfton. In Wolfton, he's legitimately just gives up at the end,
Yep.
and that's
But why is he not away?
yeah, like we
It's almost like being traumatized, tortured,
yeah,
prison,
and hell somewhere.
having
God,
Yeah, the
no
last
one
thing he's
recognized.
the last thing he saw was Sav like stepping over Sagira,
Yeah.
like you know,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah, Sagira's
Um,
death is probably still fresh on his mind.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Depending
not like
on
he's been able to
what's-
deal
yeah,
with it.
depending on what's been happening,
Yeah.
like where he's been held, how he's been held.
And he probably doesn't even know how long it's been.
God.
No, well, we know that doesn't in Wolftone.
Yeah, he's very.
He says how long has it been,
Yeah, he's.
and that was back in Chosen. So
Yep.
I'm fine about it. I'm fine about
Yeah,
it.
totally fine, absolutely. But we'll get some information like when he wakes up, or like we're probably gonna get some updates from Saint or Ikora during the Witch Queen stuff.
Hopefully.
Mm.
Hopefully.
So yeah, I don't know. We addressed a few things, more than a few things for 2.5 hours. I hope that helped. I'll put Mylin's links because I was mentioning the timestamps so people can check if they really want to. I wouldn't advise it, but again, if you really want to check for yourself
Spell here with receipts.
what he said, you can do that. So that's it. Play read Emulant? Yeah, absolutely. Everybody read Emulant or banned.
And don't make it a big deal if you don't. Like, it's not a badge of pride or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my god.
L plus ratio plus
Yeah.
you're stupid plus don't.
Plus touch grass. Also, at one point,
I will post the link in the server for you, Blake.
yeah, we'll post a link for you. And also,
Yep.
at one point we will eventually release our Emulant analysis.
when
It
I stopped
exists.
having ADHD, it does exist. We recorded like 5.5 hours of
Yeah,
it.
We are not giving the 5 hour
yeah. The 5 hour
No.
cut
in advance
is
for
yeah.
Holly.
The 5 hour cut is not gonna happen. So
There's not gonna be a 5 hour cut, you stupid slut.
gonna be yeah. And we will eventually cover what gives me pause, which is very
Oh my
important.
God.
But it's
What gives me
yeah, it's
headache?
extremely difficult to cover. You basically cannot write a script for it because it's
It's very prosy.
yeah,
In a specific way that's supposed to make you confused.
Yeah.
and I'm not surprised that a lot of other not a lot, all the other lore content creators
Not me,
were
I'm
confused.
different. Not me, I'm different.
Yeah, but Theus cracked
I'm
it.
different.
Theus knows. Even I was confused. We had that interaction on Tumblr. Like you were like, someone asked me about what gives me pause, so I can like make a post, and I was like,
Yeah.
me. And then you were like, well, actually,
Well, actually,
Yeah.
here's the truth.
yeah. But yeah, that's also interesting. But eventually, you will also like after you read Immolant, eventually we will analyze. I mean, we did already, but one day we will post that. Who knows when? It's a surprise.
When my ADHD chills out.
It definitely
Yeah.
Yeah.
you definitely won't get it from any other content creator. So
Well, not at this rate,
Yeah.
no.
so that's very interesting. You know that nobody analyzed the Millant. Very very strange.
I wonder if it's because Osiris is explicitly, Osiris and Saint are explicitly gay in it.
Who knows?
Hmm.
I
There's some dots to connect.
very interesting.
Very.
Maxi was in my bed, literally under the covers, and now she left. She's like, oh my god.
Homophobe?
Yeah. That's... Cat, please, what are you doing? She's eating my covers. What is happening? Oh my god. Anyway, we're done. We're done for now. See you all in
Alright.
Witch Queen.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good night, Night Vale.
I was resisting. I have too many podcast sign-offs, including my own.
See...
This is not the pod of wrestler.
Yeah, see you all in Witch Queen, I guess. And we'll see the
Bye.
Osiris worm, I guess.
I'm gonna hit you with a stick.
Oh my
Bye.
god. Anyway, goodbye everybody. Thanks for joining the rant. It was really, really fun. Good night. Thank you. Good night to you too, Astral. Yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the rant, the collective rant.